Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Games Done Quick hot fix on this splendid Sunday morning. Well, for me, it's the morning, and for our runner, Brian Otto, it's the morning.
It is also
but we'll
morning.
get into all that. Yeah, we're Pacific time zone pals. But before we get into that, gamers, some quick announcements. Summer Games Done Quick has wrapped up. Check out the playlist on the Games Done Quick YouTube channel. There's lots of great runs in there. My God, it is early, including a run from Brian Otto and one from myself, so that is exciting. Tweet at Games Done Quick on Twitter and let us know what your favorite run was. And check out at Games Done Quick on Instagram to get bite-sized clips from our hotfix shows and see what happens at the event. It's a little peek behind the curtain. It's very exciting. And Frame Fatales will be having its next all-women's speedrunning event, Flame Fatales, from August 21st to the 27th. The marathon schedule was just released a few days ago. You got to check it out. It's killer. Type exclamation. Yes, please.
If I may, for Frame Fatales, Solar Ash at Frame Fatales on Monday,
Ooh.
Titanfall 2 in Frame Fatales on Saturday. Those are my two favorite speed games, and they're both in the marathon, both being run by friends of mine. So definitely recommend checking those out. Yep.
Excellent. Well, I think that segues us nicely out of the announcements and into PB Precipice. Gamers, it's been a while since I've seen you. It has been a good couple weeks since I've been hosting a show, but we're back. Personal Best Precipice has returned, and we have a very exciting first show back with a good friend, Brian Otto, who will be showing off Solar Ash, which they just showed at Summer Games Done Quick. Brian Otto, how are you?
I'm doing really well. Yeah, you know, a bit of an early morning for me this morning. I was already up at 6 a.m. anyway to watch the F1 race, so you know, I've been up for a while at this point, so I'm pretty ready to go at this moment.
Nice.
At this moment, yeah.
So, Bri, can you tell me a little bit about how do you feel your run at SGDQ went?
Honestly, yeah, like, you know, I've watched the run back a few times at this point, and you know, like, there's a ton of mistakes I made in that run, but I'm not thinking about those. Like, I definitely feel probably the most, I would say, like, confident overall in like a marathon performance. I think like maybe since that Wolfenstein run I did with the Fun Cannon, but
Nice.
I feel like it definitely demonstrated like a lot of growth from like a performance perspective and like playing off mistakes or kind of like creating tension or anything like that. So I feel really good about it. So yeah, I don't know. I'm happy with how it went overall.
Nice. I think that is, you know, you mentioned a lot of things that I feel like a casual observer or a first-time observer of a GDQ run might not think that runners are thinking about. But for those of us that have returned and those of us that are, you know, trying to put on a show or whatever, those are definitely considerations, which it's great to hear that, you know, you're taking those things because it definitely worked.
Yes.
It was a spectacular run, and I know everybody was jazzed about it. So excellent work.
Thank you.
Could you tell us a little bit about the category that we'll be seeing? It's the same category you played at SGDQ, correct?
Yeah,
Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's basically the only category I run for this game. So we have so basically we have any percent and then true ending, and then for subcategories for either of those we have unrestricted and restricted. So I'm going to be running true ending restricted, and restricted is very notably not no major glitches. It's effectively a category that is designed less around like, you know, like maybe like banning big skips and more around focusing on like some of the more core gameplay elements of the game, like a lot of the movement mechanics. So rather than using like a wild glitch to like warp to the other side of a map, instead we're having to exploit a lot of the movement mechanics and movement exploits and stuff like that to do that instead. So yeah, it's not no major glitches. It is restricted. It's I like when I did my interview at GDQ, Hobbs required it. He's like, "Oh, it's one of those stuff we like categories." I was like, "Yes, it is a stuff we like category." So
that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, you'll notice that I'm still going to be doing some pretty big skips, but nearly all of them are going to be by exploiting something about the way the game's movement mechanics work. So I'm a really big believer in frankly, I'm a really big believer in arbitrary categories and putting like speedrunners and fun first rather than like any sort of like purity rules or anything like that. So yeah, runs like any sort of like NMG, like restricted categories that kind of focus on movement. I'm always about those. So
sweet. Well, I think, you know, let's stop talking about it and let's start looking at it.
All right.
What a great segue, Adef. Killed it. Let's take a look at some Solar Ash. And Brian Otto, whenever you're ready, you can take it away into the first run. And reminder, everybody, that on PB Precipice, this is proper speedrun attempts. So Brian Otto can reset as many times as they would like. In an attempt to get a PB live on stream today.
And how much time are we working with exactly? What is my exact?
We have about 3 hours.
About 3 hours. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I could probably get it maybe like, like at bare minimum, like 2 hours of resets and then one no reset run. Okay. Cool. All right. That's a good session for, I would say, overall. So something I will note about this game actually is that we are not going to be playing on the easiest available difficulty. It is actually faster to run on the standard, I guess you would say, like the intended difficulty, because that starts us off with one less health at the start of the game. And every time we defeat a boss, it like crushes one of our health reserves. But if there's no health reserve to crush, that animation doesn't play and it saves like 6 seconds. So it's, and the difficulty doesn't really have any actual effect on the speed of things within the game in terms of like boss health or anything like that. So it's actually faster to run on a harder difficulty. Yo, what's up, Covert? Yeah, Covert hosted for the GDQ run, did an excellent job, and is also another runner of this game. So yeah.
Sweet.
This is like cool format for a hotfix show, by the way. I've never really been on like a hotfix show and just been able to kind of like, like I would stream normally. Just like do a session of runs for a few hours.
The sort of impetus of the show. Also, I don't know what is happening on screen, but it's sick.
Big cutscene skip. Big cutscene skip.
The impetus for the show and sort of the log line, if you will, is like I wanted to show off what a speedrun stream actually looks like. Because I think there are a lot of people watching GDQ who like that is their main consumption of speedrun content.
For sure, for sure.
And if that's their main glimpse, then they're not going to know that like the vast majority of speedrunning content is resetting. And the sort of casual atmosphere that follows.
Yes, absolutely.
And so that was the goal.
That's really cool. I like that a lot, actually. Yeah, something I kind of appreciate about GDQ is you get to see just the runs. Oh, why did my timer pause? Oh, my timer just completely bugged out. Okay, that was a little weird. Anyway, you get to see like just like the product of all that, but at the same time, I very much understand like wanting to show people what speedrunning actually is, because yeah, that's definitely what you don't get to see at a GDQ run, is like the massive amount of work that goes into something like that.
Right, and it allows people to go for everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you see strats that people don't do on like quote unquote marathon safe runs.
Oh, I might fall here. All right, so that's a great reset right there. Yeah, basically like that's a minute into the run. I'm just gonna run that back. That archway is always a little bit tricky. So if I fall off there, that's like a minute 40 in, just easy reset.
So Brian Otto, can you tell us a little bit about what this game is and what the story is and sort of what we're looking at?
Yeah, for sure. So my elevator pitch for this game is always that it combines elements of Jet Set Radio Future, Shadow of the Colossus, and Celeste. It's kind of like how the movement and gameplay mechanics interact. So we have like we're kind of like skating everywhere. We have a dash that functions very similarly to the Celeste dash. Where we can only use it in so many times in a period of time, and it's on a cooldown. It sets us at like a set speed, but we can jump out of it and carry our momentum that way. As far as the overall story premise goes, we're playing as Ray, and Ray is a Void Runner, as they're called. And basically, her people's planet is being pulled into this massive black hole called the Ultra Void. And so we have a special set of technology that allows us to go into black holes. And so that is actually where this game is taking place, is inside the black hole that her planet is being sucked into. And we're trying to figure out how to prevent that from happening. So the general gameplay loop is we're going to visit like all these, they're called anomalies. And we have to clear out so many anomalies in every single sector so we can like reestablish contact with our AI that's present there, and also kind of like activate this big device called the Starseed, which is supposed to be able to stop the black hole from sucking our planet in. That's kind of like the very brief TLDR for this game, I would say, overall.
I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
Yeah. This game is like, I'm not going to go too much into the story because this game's narrative is actually like really, really good, I would say, overall. And all the punches and everything like really hit super hard. Actually, like, is a big reason I encourage people to play the game. Let me focus for this so I don't mess this up this time. Much better. There we go. So I'm not going to go too much into it because it's got a lot of really good twists and turns, and yeah, it's a big reason I encourage people to play. But aside from just the narrative, the gameplay of this game is like, if you're into movement games whatsoever, it's spot on. It's super good. Yo, is this live? This is live. It is true.
Maybe for you, not for me. This is a pre-recorded conversation that I'm having.
2 down. There must be one more.
Something else to note too is these little, or not, I don't want to say little, that blue stuff, those are clouds, and we're always moving faster when we're on clouds. So anytime I'm able to move on clouds, I'm going to be. Also 224, looking at my timer, 224 when I get to this last iGoop, as we call them, is fast. That is good pace.
I love... This is something that's so funny to me about speedrunning, and something that we definitely all do, especially once you get to the top level of a game. You have your splits, sure,
yeah,
and those are at like the designated points everybody likes.
Yeah.
But then you'll have your own little moments where you're like, okay, you have splits in your head too.
Yes, absolutely.
That are like in between. You're like, oh, okay, cool. 224 kill, that's fast enough.
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny. One of my good friends, Amber, Mario Kart runner, comes in my stream sometimes, and she always says, like, I don't understand how you have like so few splits for such a long game. As somebody that comes from running Mario Kart, you know, where you have the splits are like every single, like all the time, and you have like lap times all the time. And I was like, well, I have my own set of splits in my head, kind of like what you were talking about, right?
Right,
like
exactly.
I need to be at this point by this time marker. Also, my RNG for this boss is bad right now. It is not good. Not reset worthy, but not exactly what I'm looking for. Basically, we have a set amount of... There's a little bit of RNG in this game. I'd say a fair amount. Good serving of it. And most of it comes down to like kind of like boss patterns or boss positioning, effectively, for when you're trying to get on the back of one of them to start one of these phases.
This creature design is cool.
Yeah, and this is just the first one. Oh man, yeah, I got really terrible RNG, so this is gonna be pretty rough. Basically, yeah, anytime you spawn in, you can be like a certain distance away from this tail. And I got probably the worst possible for every single time. So this split is probably gonna be red, but I have time to save elsewhere. So, oh my! So it's not gonna be too bad. One of the really weird things about this game is how gravity functions in here. You'll find a lot of kind of like Mario Galaxy-esque kind of like gravity sections where we're kind of like going like around, you know, like planets or something like that. Or anyway, and also every boss kind of has like their own gravity bubble around them, and the way that they move can influence that. And so something that you'll see me doing a lot, especially in the segment coming up, is I'm going to be moving my camera around in a lot of weird ways, and that is going to that's actually going to influence the way that I fly through the air. So camera direction influences gravity is like one of the most interesting quirks about this game overall.
The physical implications of that make no sense, and I love
It's
it.
really cool. It's really, you'll actually see it coming up. I'm going to be doing a pretty big skip to enter the second biome here. I'm going to angle my camera upwards, so I'm able to basically skate directly up a cliff, and then I'll be doing some more after that. So, yeah. The game has a pretty fair amount of downtime as well, overall, actually. But because the game is at like such a visceral pace, when you don't have the downtime, you don't really end up noticing it a whole lot. It kind of provides, I feel like, a nice, you know, like a good like 20 seconds to breathe every now and again.
That's good. You don't want too much downtime in a run.
No.
but you want a little bit. I feel like you and I are probably similar in that regard of like, I like runs that are high action for like stuff going on all the time. I don't like taking big cutscene breaks in the middle of runs very much, but I appreciate a good 20-second break.
I've never gone that high there before, sorry. Oh boy.
You're good.
Woo. That was very interesting. Yeah, that was, I did like the best, I guess you'd say, gravity manip that I ever did there. That's why I was up so high there. It super tripped me out. So that checkpoint that I just hit up there, this game, like a lot of other games, basically will store your progress when you hit a checkpoint. So I did that big skip to get into this area, got to the very top of this building, hit the checkpoint up there, and then I'm going to quit to menu once this cutscene plays out, and that'll kind of basically teleport me back up top. And because, like most other modern PC games, we don't time load screens, that is going to be effectively, you know, within the in-game time world, an instant warp. I'm just waiting for an audio cue. Tap, tap. Ah, almost. So there's a fair amount of black screen movement you have to do, and I use an audio cue to try and set that one up so I can just triple jump up there, but was not quite able to that time. And no major glitches, by the way.
That OB didn't look like it skipped very much.
It's actually, that's about a 20-second time save, so it's a fairly...
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's not like a huge skip, but it skips a big boss intro cutscene there, so... All right, this trick is my nemesis. This could be good. Yeah, see, you can see a little bit of the gravity manipulation on display there to get up there. There we go. Okay. Good luck, Brian. Thank you very much, Violin. It is very sick. It is very good. Very underplayed, too, I would say, overall. Fortunately, the GDQ run, you know, it seemed to attract a lot of people, at least into our speedrun Discord, that expressed interest in running the game, so that's pretty cool.
Nice. Always
the most you can ask for.
Gives a little outreach.
I also got to teach Ruby Heart, who was the opening runner. What the? Okay, hold on. I got to save this. I got to teach Ruby Heart, who did the opening run at GDQ, Shadow of Colossus runner, some of the tech, like on site at GDQ, and that was really cool. I always love being able to do that. Just got here. What does restricted mean? Restricted refers to the rule set that I'm running under. It basically means that there are certain glitches and stuff like that that are banned that I cannot do in this category. So this category is more focused on movement rather than like huge glitches that skip significant portions of the game. Because you can probably argue that that trick right there, where I use the rail to like go really far, is a major glitch, but of course we want to be able to do that stuff, so.
Was the when did the unrestricted / restricted split take place?
Yeah, so we had a when the game first came out, we had a leaderboard embargo for about, I think it was a little under 2 weeks, to kind of help us, which I think is, by the way, if you're ever like moderating, speedrun moderating for a new game, do not instantly open up the leaderboards. Put like an embargo on runs for the leaderboard for, you know, anywhere from like a week to 2 weeks. It gives your community time to figure out the game and like learn stuff about it. Maybe something's frame rate dependent. Maybe you might need like a macro if there's a ton of mashing, you know, stuff like that, right? So, so that's what we did with this game. And I would say the, yeah, we figured out that restricted, unrestricted split within, you know, within that time frame, within those first 2 weeks. So, there was a lot of stuff that we discovered pretty quick. Oh, and also I should note, the game has 2 endings. There's a good ending and a bad ending, and true ending is the good ending that gives us an additional mission and another boss. Whoa, that was bad. I mentioned before that I'm running on not the easiest difficulty, but like the intended one, standard difficulty. And the main thing that standard difficulty affects is kind of like the time we have in between each one of these. I guess you'd call them needles. The needles, I believe, within the lore of the game are kind of projections on Rey's heads-up display that indicate the weak points on a boss's armor effectively to her. And so, yeah, basically you see that little bar at the bottom middle of the screen. That indicates how long we have to reach every single one of these points before we kind of have to retry the boss phase. And so that's the main thing that standard difficulty will affect. And because we're already going really fast anyway, that doesn't affect us at all. Aside from like, there's one of these eye goops that we do unintended, and in like I think 4 or 5 missions from now. And there's one that's like particularly really hard because of that, and that's kind of like a scary point. But otherwise, yeah, we're relatively unaffected by the difficulty. So yeah.
The core gameplay loop of the bosses is really interesting. Like how the boss platforming gets harder with each phase.
Yeah,
is a neat and simple solution.
Yeah, they're not really fights, right? They're kind of like extended platforming sequences that, yeah, have that. Oh my, I've got a risky elements to them. Okay, you can die to that tentacle, so that was a little scary. Yeah, and these third phases of the boss can be really scary because if you die, you have to redo the whole third phase. And if you die at the end of the third phase, you know, that's like a minute lost easy. So this one can normally be pretty spooky because the boss, the way Thresher, the way she moves through the city can be random. And I mentioned with Gravity before, it can like affect the kind of the way that you're able to move across the back of her. So, and you saw that I almost died to that tentacle flying in the middle of my path there. So it was, yeah, lucky I was able to avoid that. All right, I'm gonna, oopsie, I just did my splits. What profile am I on? Was it skip him again? Yeah, let's go back to Basin. I was trying to swap over to a different. Okay, well, I messed up my splits, but I was kind of curious where I was compared to PB because I was using my balance comparison. I accidentally undid them. But yeah, this is one of my bigger time saves is Basin because it has a pretty RNG, the boss and Basin in particular. Yeah, it's pretty RNG. So bosses are being pretty rude so far. I would agree. I would agree. Hopefully I get really good center RNG in Basin and I'll be okay. Once we talk to Sid for the first time here, we get the ability to fast travel. So we'll be using that quite a bit throughout the rest of the game. We can just warp to different areas.
The clouds are very satisfying to look at.
Oopsie. And this is another big, basically any single intro to an area. Oh, this is always frustrating. You have to like get over the edge here and then do a triple jump. There we go. Any single intro to an area, we have like a big skip to get in there. Let's do a little dash. And then the top of this tree has no collision. Oh, well, that tree has collision. Anyway, normally you're able to kind of like slide off that. I was not so fortunate that time. I would say this run is not going super hot at the moment, but it's not worth resetting over just yet because there's still some pretty critical points where I can save significant amounts of time.
Bri, you're pretty close to the world record, yeah?
Yeah, I'm like less than 20 seconds off. Record is 56:29, and my PB is a 56:48. So if I did my head math correctly, and you're never supposed to do math on stream, I should be less than 20 seconds off.
That would be pretty epic.
That would be epic. Yeah, yeah. I was going. It was funny. I was going super hard at this game. You know, after I got accepted to GDQ and everything for practice for it, and then I sort of like. It was weird. Probably about a month and a half before GDQ. That's had a lot of stuff going on, and I fell in love with a different hobby, disc golf of all things, and I kind of stopped speedrunning and stopped streaming for a bit, kind of like right when I was on the cusp of getting record back. So, but once GDQ got closer, I started practicing again. Obviously, I did a ton of practice on site at GDQ, and I feel pretty good overall from an execution perspective with this game. So. I'm definitely capable. I would say it's a bit of a long shot for this particular session. If I'm able to PB it, if I'm able to PB, that would be cool. Record will be a bit of a different story. But yeah, I feel pretty good from an execution perspective. It's just a matter, you know, like with any other long form speedrun, of putting that all together into one run.
Right.
Where do these things come from?
Putting all your good segments together. Because the game isn't super punishing, like generally speaking. I don't feel like anyway, but like sometimes like you just there are like certain like small mistakes. Like how do I phrase this? The game is not punishing, but it's I don't know. This is sound like such an oxymoron. The game is not punishing, but it's really easy for a small mistake to have a big impact. I don't really know how else to describe that. So
that is very oxymoronic.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like yeah, I don't know. Not really sure how else to describe it. I would not describe this game as punishing though, generally speaking. I didn't really get the layout or the speed I was looking for here, so this will be kind of weird. It's a good recovery. Whoa. Disc golf is rad too. So true. I got like so sucked into it over the last month and a half. The Disc Golf Pro Tour came through Portland, Oregon, which is where I live. And I've been watching coverage of it for, I don't know, the last like 3 years. And so I was like, hey, I'll just go to the Open. And then of course, like you have a ton of the disc vendors there. And I end up picking up some discs. And then as soon as I got them, I was like, dang, I just want to go throw these. And then I've been practicing or playing almost every day since then. So I actually brought my discs to GDQ, and then I went out with some of my friends, Fun Cannon, Amerlin, Shockwave, Utsu, and we all went and played a couple rounds at a few courses in the Minneapolis area, which there were a ton of, so that was really cool. All right, so this is the super RNG boss I was talking about. Sentry can attack in 3 set locations from around this area, and how they move from area to area can be seemingly random. So I have to also at the same time, if I like really am able to hustle in between phases, which I am not hustling right now, I can sometimes like be good to go. I'm not really sure what I'm getting right now, so I guess we'll see. I think I was a little bit too slow on that first phase to get anything here. We'll see. I'm going to try and do this as soon as possible. So this will be close. So if I am lucky, because I definitely messed up, Sentry will attack instantly. And if not, I'm going to be waiting for a bit. Okay, yep, we're good. We're good. So this would be like the super fast phase here. They're going to attack again, and then their arm will be down here. There we go. Cool. This went really well. And then if I'm able to go fast here as well, if I'm able to really hustle, I can get... so if you're familiar with Super Metroid speedruns and Phantoon, you'll know that like Phantoon can attack like they have like 3 different cycles. They have a slow, a mid, and a fast cycle. I definitely just got a fast cycle. So if I'm able to go fast enough here, I'll be able to get fast. And the difference between fast and slow is around like 45 seconds. This is looking like it's going to be like a fast mid, I would say. So this is a good like silver medal. Good silver medal for this boss. So yeah, not too bad from like an RNG perspective here.
It's a great comparison, and also a huge disparity.
Yeah, huge. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely possible. Like just like with Phantoon, if you get a slow Phantoon, you can still get PBs. It just becomes a lot harder. And I don't believe the rest of my basin was good enough for this for my RNG here to really make an impact overall. So this boss is going really well though. I really enjoyed this last phase. Just has a nice rhythm to it. And as a time signature nerd, I'm all about rhythms.
Favorite non-traditional time signature?
15-8.
Great.
I had that answer ready. I had that answer ready for you quick.
We did a... Well, I mean, if you're a self-proclaimed time signature nerd, I should hope so.
What were you gonna say? Sorry.
We did a choral piece when I was in college that was like, oh, I don't want to butcher what it was. It was a very non-traditional time signature, and it was a real problem.
Yep.
But you know, we had fun.
All right. So the thing I'm looking for on my splits right now is the best possible time, and it's still under my PB. So unless that thing goes over, I'm keeping this run going. That's kind of always my mindset there, especially for this next mission, Garden, or Eternal Garden, I should say. Eternal Garden has a skip that the world record did not have at the time. So that's kind of like the main upper hand I have over the current world record time, is there is a skip I will be doing here that will save me time over what the world record did.
Welcome back, May.
And this is normally we don't want to buy health, but this one is going to be a this one's going to be necessary for that skip I was talking about. And that'll be coming up pretty much, I think, basically at the end of this mission. Until then, I got some other skips to do. That should be fine to get me up here. There we go. Another big skip here. Again, it's not no major glitches. Oh, did I not break out of the stratosphere? Oh, brutal. Okay, I think that's probably a reset, actually. I'm going to go back up here and practice it, and then I will probably be resetting, because that is a very crucial trick to hit. And if I don't get through that gravity bubble, it is... This basically curtains. That's a long way back up there.
The classic of fail a trick, then practice it while the timer's still running.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Then reset. It's classic.
You can do this without using the time slowdown here. Like you can technically just do this, but, and I get it there. It's just, it's so scary to do that in the moment. Anyway, here's the trick I was going for.
Yo, this is
It's
sick.
so cool, dude. I love this one. Usually like the coolest intro cutscene skip that we have. Like I would say period. All right. And you know what?
Was it built inside the Ultra Void?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll go practice the other tough trick here too, and then I'm gonna reset. But just while I'm in the area, while I'm in the neighborhood, might as well give it a try.
Yeah.
And I first tried it. Okay, that's pretty cool. Damage clip through the wall. Drop down here. Oh, and then you get onto this. Oh my, collision mushroom. Whoa, hello. I thought that got patched for a sec. I was scared. It's funny. So that little hole in the geometry originally got patched because speedrunners didn't have a use for it, and then like somebody that was playing on an old patch found that we could actually do that clip to get through the wall, and then we basically reached out to Heart Machine and we were like, "Yo, can y'all revert this?" And then they did. It's pretty amazing, pretty incredible.
Let's go. Yes.
Yo, Drew Bagel in chat.
Developers.
Dude, Heart Machine has been incredible to us. Like, so good.
Okay. I have a message to game developers.
Okay.
Hello. That's not it. That's not the whole thing. I have worked in AAA QA. I have shipped 2 AAA titles.
That's pretty cool.
I promise you, I promise, I don't know how speedrun glitches do not affect end users. I promise. I know it feels like the polish of the game is somehow lowered if your speedrun community can clip out of bounds in level 5 and skip a cutscene, but I promise it actually adds to your game and it will make people want to play it who otherwise would not. I promise. I promise, promise, promise. If the glitch is not an A-level crit non-prog, just leave it. If it's on progression path, I get it. I understand. But if it's off progression path, just leave it in the game, please.
You want to hear another cool thing that Heart Machine did?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the glitches for the category that for unrestricted, there's a glitch that they use called shield warping or box warping. And so basically the way that you normally replenish your health is by, you can only see it at the bottom of the screen, that little blue square. It's a shield box. And basically what we ended up discovering is that if you get a shield and then you stand on that exact shield box for a while, it will like it'll like despawn or something like that. I forget exactly. And I don't run the category, so I'm not like super well versed. But basically, after you stand on that shield box for like an extended period of time, you'll just get warped to like a different shield box somewhere else on the map, and you can actually like, you know, stand on specific shield boxes to warp to specific parts of maps, and you can skip like enormous amounts of content that way. But the issue was that casual players, it kept happening to casual players too, because you might imagine that like you pick up a health and then you're standing there for a bit looking at the map trying to figure out where to go. But at the same time, it was like super impactful to speedrunners. Like for unrestricted runs, it was like very, very good.
Right.
And so obviously Heart Machine had to patch it, but what they did was that they left it in, and if you hold grapple, if you hold the grapple button as you walk over the shield box, you can steal shield box warp, because casual players are never going to be holding grapple for like 10 seconds while standing on a shield box waiting for it to warp. So they like patched it, but left it away for speedrunners to still accomplish it. And I just think that's so cool.
That's so
I think
sick.
that's so sick. Yeah.
Yeah, and that sort of brings up a good point. That's sort of like a derivative of what I was just, or not derivative, but like a branching path of what I was just talking about. And somebody in chat mentions it too. I feel like it largely depends on how likely it is to be performed by casual players playing as intended. That's sort of what I meant by progression path.
Yep.
If this is a highly reproducible bug that affects casual players, even 25%, even 5% of the time, yeah, you should probably make it fixed or make it harder to perform the thing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is like to use a textbook example of like the speedrun glitch. Wrong warp in Ocarina of Time.
Yes.
Let's say a contemporary game had that trick and it works the same way. Why would you ever fix it?
Right, because like, the setup for that is so meticulous. Yeah.
Yeah, and it requires other sub glitches that are also more difficult to perform, and like casual players will never encounter this issue.
Yeah.
In fact, the reason the glitch works is because the game is working as intended. So like, yeah, my point is basically just, if your QA finds a speedrun thing, or if speedrunners find a speedrun thing after launch, if it does not affect a progression path player, at least consider the idea that maybe your game is actually improved for having had a cool skip.
Yeah, there was like speedrun tech that some of the devs had discovered on their own time that they just like left in the game because they were like, this is cool. So yeah, stuff that we would later rename or we would come to know as partying is what it's called. So when you grind on rails in this game, you get like a little speed boost, but that speed boost isn't necessarily capped. And so like so that's kind of like how I'm doing those huge rail launches you might have seen. What, huh? Oh no, I died there. That's how I'm doing those huge rail launches you might have seen, where like basically I slow down time, I press the rail grind button multiple times, and then I'm able to get a boost. So if you do that like without doing the slowdown, right? We call it partying, because Ray will put her hands in the air like, whoa, like that, and it looks like she's having a good time. So that was something that, you know, they stumbled upon pretty early. They were able to like just press the rail grind button a bunch, get a big speed boost, launch somewhere into the air or something like that. And yeah, they were like, oh, this is cool. We're going to leave this in. So yeah.
It's sick.
It's sick, dude.
I think the bottom line too is like, you know, I'm not saying any developer needs to be so ingratiated into the speedrunning community per se, like Heart Machine is, and they're going above and beyond.
Oh, absolutely,
which is great, because, you know, it is a niche community, but, you know, you could also consider the fact that, like, if your game winds up at a GDQ event, 100,000 people are going to see it. And that's minimum from just the live stream, not even talking about the YouTube VOD or the news articles or whatever. Like,
they get so much coverage.
Eyes on your game, if it's a cool speedrun game, is good. Anyway. Gaming is cool.
Gaming
That's
is
all
cool.
that matters.
Speed gaming is cool. What platforms is this on? This is on PC and PS4 currently. Or, I mean, not just PS4, right? The PS5 exists. I haven't seen one in person yet, but I'm sure it exists.
Yeah, supposedly
they exist.
My dad wanted to get one of my siblings they just graduated from a graduate program.
Cool.
They finished their master's.
Wow.
And my dad wanted to get them a PS5. And I woke up like, this was like probably 6 or 7 weeks ago. I woke up to a text from my dad and my sister, and they were both like, how do you get a PS5?
You were like,
and I was like, you don't?
Yeah, so true.
We figured it out, but you know, it wasn't cheap. I did all I could for them. I worked my hardest to find the cheapest thing I could find.
Well, oh yeah, and I should note with these clouds, I believe the way that they move around is random. It usually doesn't affect you too much, but in that case, I kind of like hit a weird slope. But yeah, fun little fun fact about the game, I suppose. Yeah, it'll be to answer some questions in chat about which platform on PC. It's on Epic right now. It will be coming to Steam later on this year. That is confirmed.
Epic Games has a better developer split, right?
It does. The reason that I don't mind buying games on Epic in particular is because a lot of them are DRM free. So like Solar Ash, like I have never booted the Epic client to run this game. I just have it. I have the folder pinned on my start menu, and I just open up the start menu, open up the folder, click the exe, and yeah,
Nice.
It's really, really nice. It's really sick. So also it made it super easy for running this game at GDQ and getting it set up like tech-wise, because
Oh my god.
the game is
yeah.
only like 3 gigs, right? So I just put it on a USB 3.0 drive, drag the folder over, and I'm playing it within like less than 30 seconds. Versus like Titanfall 2, for example, which was a much more difficult game to transfer to a new PC, because you have to like getting a game to work on Origin, especially one that's like 64 gigs, you have to jump through like so many hoops to like transfer it to a new PC. So it'd be like a 15 minute to 30 minute process, like if I was going to put it on like a practice PC at a GDQ or something. So yeah, just being able to like drag and drop stuff is so nice. It's so nice.
I have never envied the setup for PC runners at main
Yeah.
events.
Yeah, this one was really easily like the most painless I've had.
That worked. It's getting weaker.
Getting bad RNG for this boss again, as is tradition.
Yeah, I think
Hello?
I don't really know the ins and outs, but you know, there's a lot of clients these days. It's interesting. You know, it used to be just Steam, and now there's like other stuff.
Yeah. Nowadays, if a game is more than 10 gigs, I'm probably not interested in it. Man, that's gonna be
That's gonna limit. That's gonna
severely
limit your
you.
choices.
Okay, here's what good RNG looks like.
I don't know that I've ever.
There you go. See,
I don't know that I've ever heard someone who said that their game choice is based solely on file size.
I mean, fair enough. You know, I get it. All right.
Their whole PC is on a 50 gigabyte NVMe. So they gotta be really scrutinous with what they put on that thing.
All right. I'll be looking at about a 451, 452 coming out of here. And I would say my par time for this segment is usually my par time is a 450. So if I'm like a second or two over, kind of whatever to me. You know, I'll take a 451. So my PB split was really fast through these first 2 missions. So I'm usually in the red coming out of here, I would say.
Do you want to know a cool fact?
I would love to know a cool
Brian
fact, ADEF.
Otto? Okay, this fact is gonna blow your
Okay.
mind. Following Brian Otto on Twitch is actually free. It doesn't
Whoa.
cost anything. It's like, it doesn't cost money.
I'm pogging.
And there's going to be a link in chat to click, and then you click one more time to click a heart to follow. And that's it. That's the cool fact.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Wow.
I just found this out the other day.
Really?
I was under the impression it cost money, but evidently not.
We can spin. How can we see a
Yeah, no, it is free.
What's the theme of this show? Just showing off whatever? No, it's PB attempts. Also, Bri, where I would say wherever this run dies,
Yes,
we'll take the first break.
Sounds good to me. Oh, this is going to be sketchy. It could die right here. Now we're good. You have to jump up. Okay. Oh. All right. Everything's fine.
You had a lot of speed there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's this game's I guess you'd say ledge detection or like collision detection when you're moving at speed is pretty generous. Like they really wanted you to be able to move fluidly without running into like little bumps and stuff and getting slowed down. So when you're moving at speed, if you're like a foot below the ledge, you'll kind of just vault it and pause for a second, but then keep the majority of your speed. And that works like 90% of the time, I would say. So I was going so fast there and I was like so much lower than I wanted to be. I wasn't quite sure what was going on and I was freaking out a little bit, to say the least. All right. There we go. I hit that time. Didn't hit that last run. And that's an NPC that we're basically skipping talking to there by doing that triple jump over them. All right. All right. All right, Broken Capital. We meet again. This is the second mission in the game, but it is easily like one of the hardest. Like if you get a run past Capital, it's probably going for a while longer. But you know, this is kind of like that early game level where if you're going to reset anywhere in the early game, it's probably here. This looks good. Shout outs to Drew Bagel. I love you. Drew gave me a much more consistent setup for that launch in particular, so. What is the lore of this game? What's with the eyes? These are all, they're referred to as anomalies or remnants. I'm not going to go too deep into the lore, but basically they're some sort of, you know, seemingly alien entity that was like left behind from some like past battle or clash or something like that. Hold on. And we have to clear out all of them basically because they're like disrupting our communication with our kind of like AI. That is our main ally that's helping us out throughout the game. So that's why we're going to every single one and clearing them out. Hello, Brad. Good luck. Thank you so much, Athena. It's good to see you. Feels just like one of my stream chats. I see so many familiar faces in here. Fun times. All right.
What are these things?
It's a little spooky. I should be fine. Kill this guy. Utsu, I did it! Utsu, I did it! I did the thing! Utsu's been working really hard with me to try and figure out that particular launch, and I finally did it. That was great. That launch is like really hard because there's a lot of like, I don't know, just objects and obstacles in the way of that launch. And then also the gravity all around that area is like super duper weird. There's a ton of like, we call them gravity bubbles. And so like the main consistent way to do that is after you do the launch, you literally just like let go of like everything. You don't move your mouse. You don't press any movement keys. You don't do anything. And so having like I guess you'd say the wherewithal, the mental capacity to like not press anything when you're going that fast is so hard. It's like it's so hard to like get rid of that muscle memory, not to like just hold W, right? So very particular trick. This has actually been a really good capital, by the way. Let me just say. Okay, maybe I said that too early. I'm not really sure. Oh, yeah. So there we go. I said it a little bit early. This has been a really good capital overall. Because I'm not quite done with the boss, but you know, we did all the hard stuff. And now we just have to do the easy stuff. But as anybody that speedrun knows, it's oftentimes that it's the easy stuff that you mess up.
Yes, because you spend all your time grinding the hard stuff.
Exactly. The easy stuff you're supposed to know.
Reminds me of, I don't know if there are any Hunter heads in the chat room, but there's this battle sequence between Hisoka, who's one of the main sort of villains, and this other kind of side character. And the side character spends like several years learning this new technique in order to defeat Hisoka. And then Hisoka's like, you spend too much time on the hard stuff. You don't remember the easy stuff anymore.
That's good. Oh, let me just say, by the way, Solar Ash world record holder in chat, Bladen, has graced us with their presence. Hello, Bladen.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Let's go.
It's been pretty fun running this game too, because we've had actually like a pretty decent amount of crossover from the Titanfall speedrunning community. And most people that know me usually know me from running Titanfall 2 for the past like 5 years. So being able to do speedruns with so many other folks from the Titanfall community with this game has been really, really cool. It was really interesting. We had like quite an influx of folks from both Titanfall and Ghost Runner when this game came out. So, and those are both speed games that, you know, have similar qualities to them. So seeing both communities come together for this was really cool.
That's sick.
Enjoy your freedom.
Okay, yeah, that was a really good capital. That was really, really good. If I'm like close to my PB pace coming out of capital, I know I did something right. I love that Risa message. Oler Sash.
Somebody gifted, an anonymous gifter gifted Bladen a tier 3
you
sub.
love to see it. You love to see it. Bladen's actually pretty incredible. Like, they just dominate like almost any speed game they touch. It's pretty wild. Not only Solar Ash, but also recently Titanfall. We held our annual tournament, Mach 1 March, or I guess Mach 2 March this year. And like it was just like not close. Like we had upwards of like 80 entrants, and they're just like completely utterly destroyed. And then they got and then they beat the world record by like, oh, I'm lucky I got that mantle. They beat the world record by like over a minute. They got a 1:16.05 for Titanfall 2, which is like, I mean, this just, I don't know. For people that don't run the game, it's just like, I'm not really sure what you'd even compare it to. It's just wild. So very cool person, very god gamer, like literal god gamer. Oh. All right, this is already going better than my last basin. So if I can basically do, if I can string this, I have some momentum going right now. I feel like I'm playing pretty well. If I can keep this momentum going and then get this basically the same boss phases that I got last run, we'll be on a pacer. We'll be pacing.
Another one down.
Pacing.
We'll be pacing.
Thank you later, Sid.
Yeah, being anywhere close to my PB at a capital is definitely pacing. So. Oh, I love that strat. I really love that route. It flows really nicely, and it's just touchy enough where you have to do it, you know, 30 or 40 times before you're able to just like really flow through it like that. So I like it a lot. Bro, there's so many good people that I know in chat right now. Oh my god, just this entire chat list is good
Where do
folks.
these things come from?
The ADF shows bring in the good gamers. What can I say?
So true. That was risky. All right. Yeah, game's very fun casually. Yeah, the standard difficulty is, yeah, fairly decent challenge. The challenge difficulty is, yeah, can be pretty hard at times, I'd say. Good difficulty tuning overall. Feel like good difficulty tuning is hard to come by in games these days.
Yeah, it's either ultra hard or ultra easy.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I appreciate the modern Doom games so much, is that their difficulty is tuned like so well. It's not just like, oh, we cranked the enemy health up by like 30 points or something like that, you know? So
I also want deaths to be more punishing in games, though. Like, my roots in speedrunning come from the NES.
Okay.
Like, I was a retro runner for years before I touched anything else.
Right.
And so I'm definitely a fan of like harder games. And I understand people who don't like the core gameplay loop of the Souls games. I'm personally a huge fan.
I am one of those people that doesn't like the
very
gameplay loop.
least,
Yep, gotcha.
I think it totally fair. It's definitely not for everybody. But at the very least, something that I think more games could benefit from is like, I don't know. I feel like deaths having more of a...
More consequence?
More consequence.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a difficulty thing. Maybe that's just a, you put it on hard difficulty and deaths mean more. And I think that's fair.
Yeah, as far as soul stuff goes, yeah, I definitely respect that they are very good games. I just don't like the formula, and that's really about it. It's just not for me type deal.
Not for everybody at all. I think that is one of the actually big misconceptions about the Souls games, is that like everybody will like it. I have played all of them. I can tell you, not everybody will like it. I love it, but not for everyone.
All right, I got a very bad cycle, so if Sentry decides to move quickly, we should be fine. Okay, good. All right. Normally when you get that cycle, they can kind of waddle around over there and just kind of sit there for, but it feels like when it's happening to you, it feels like minutes, when in reality it's probably only about like 10 seconds. But fortunate that they moved instantly. I'll just say that much.
There's a question in chat. They ask, Adef, how do you feel about deaths in something like Shadow of Mordor scaling up the Nemesis? I think that is a super cool solution to the problem.
I agree.
Creating some kind of non-traditional consequence associated with death. For those of you that don't know, in the Shadow of Mordor series, when you die, the enemy that killed you goes up in the ranks of the like orc army. Because they killed you, so they're like a more respected soldier now, and they become more powerful and have more sway. That's super cool.
I agree.
Yeah, big fan.
So unfortunately, we had a really, really good basin, but our boss cycles are bad. So again, we've tried a lot to figure out if this is random and how we can manipulate it. We've asked Heart Machine directly, like, hey, is there something, is there something we can do? And I mean, you can just see how much time is being wasted right now. So that was what I was talking about, where they kind of waddle around in one spot and then move to the next area. So it's rough. I definitely played the boss phases pretty well too. Just never lucky. Never lucky. And for people, anyone that's just getting here, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, oh, hello? I'm right underneath you. The boss can only attack from 3 specific points on the map, and how they move between every single point can be various speeds. And we got basically the 2 slowest options, just about anyway.
Getting heavy Hyperlight Drifter vibes? That would probably be because the same
developer studio. And they are now working on Hyperlight Breaker, which I believe is coming out early next year, something like that. So I love Tarkov, so I might be too much of a masochist. I love the gameplay of Tarkov. Yeah, I don't play Tarkov, but I really appreciate a lot of the gameplay elements of it, and how I feel like it really manages to stand out in what is really these days like a super crowded genre. I really enjoy that kind of like just no mercy, like very cutthroat, I don't know, kind of like, I don't know what you would say, like atmosphere of that game. So I appreciate that a lot about Tarkov. I love watching Tarkov, that's for sure.
Hey, if you work at Heart Machine, I live in Los Angeles, and if you need an actor for an interview, just,
All right, let's see if we can get into Garden this time. I think the farthest we've gotten to run is Garden, so I would like to surpass that this time around. All right. Getting into Garden is always a bit of a challenge in itself, as we saw last run, but everybody was around for that. That looks good. swag moment. Let's try this. All right, there we go. Yeah, we're cruising right now. Oh, actually, that could be really bad. That could be bad. Nope, it's good. Nope, we're fine. Okay, I definitely double jumped a little bit early and lost my momentum, but we still got the trick. Here we go. Okay, cool. I would say that probably canceled out the time that I saved by not activating the time slow.
There was a lot of roller coaster of emotions there.
Structure looks like
I'm so sorry.
Was it built inside the Ultra Void?
It's okay.
Moving is so satisfying. I agree. I agree. You can move like this too if you buy Solar Ash. And actually, if you're into this game, or if you're enjoying watching this and maybe you think the speedrun sounds interesting, one of the top runners in our community, Drew Bagel, just put out a brand new tutorial series, like brand spanking new. And all I've heard about it so far is that it's really okay, it's fine. All I've heard about it so far is that it's really, really good. So definitely recommend giving the game a shot. And if you like the speedrun, it is fairly easy to pick up. Especially when you have really good new runner resources like we do. Can I get down? Can I get down? Thank you. I hate this anomaly so much. It's very frustrating.
Well, it hates you too.
Sorry?
It hates you too?
Yeah, it really does. No, I agree. This is like one of the few eye groups or anomalies in the game that we don't really have any, like, I guess you'd say, like, real strats for. That one's very much just like do it the intended way fast. It's frustrating because you're like upside down and like climbing on stuff and your controls are all weird and the camera's all weird. It's frustrating. Woo! It's gonna skate this out. There we go. It's one of those eye groups that's a little bit scary on the standard difficulty because if you make one mistake there, you got to redo the whole thing. Fortunately, we made it through. So this is where I'd say this is the big meat of the level. This next part coming up. I mentioned earlier that as soon as we activate Sid in a biome, we can teleport to them. And so teleporting to Sid is a huge part of our routing for a lot of these missions, especially this one. Having that free fast travel is extremely valuable, as you might imagine. And you'll see that here, or you saw that there, and you'll see it again coming up. So here's the skip I'm about to do is the one that is not present in the world records. This is basically the upper hand I have. It's present in my PB, but this is kind of like the only upper hand that I have versus Bladen's godlike run. So gonna hop up here, and this collision like isn't there. So I can just go through, and then I'm going to take a bit of a safe route here. I'm looking at the positioning of the charger because I need them to kind of hit me like straight on. Let's see how they hit me to the side. So that was very much not what I needed there. So now I'm going to have to like get them to basically come back this direction. If I can get them to... Okay, so now hopefully... Here we go. Okay, there we go. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good cleanup. That could get very hairy very quick because you have to get hit like straight through that wall for the damage clip. So I'd say that's a solid, like, I'd call that a second try. Good. All right, there we go. Sorry, checking my phone for just a moment. Okay, here we go.
Unacceptable. Oh my God.
I'm so sorry.
You're banned from my show
I
forever.
I disrespected PB Precipice. I'm so sorry.
Never disrespect ADEF twice.
I can disrespect once though?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, because I only did it once, so I should be fine then.
It's a 2 strikes.
Okay, well I only have 1 strike against me then, so I don't see what the issue is.
Yeah, no problems.
All right. It's weird that I feel like we've been cruising for a while now. This is the farthest I've made it, even though it's only like about halfway into the run. So, what is that icky dark goop? It's moving. It's yeah. I'm not going too hard into the lore in this game because this game's pretty underplayed and the narrative is actually pretty good. But it's like something. It's some sort of, you know, like weird alien substance that was, you know, kind of like left behind from some sort of past event or something, and it's some sort of like actual life form, but we're also able to climb it and stuff.
Brian Nato.
Yes?
Missing the Super Mario Sunshine reference.
Oh. No, sorry. Hey, listen, I'm a
That's a strike 1.5.
Well, okay. Well, okay, this is probably going to be strike 2. I mean, I'm like a certified Nintendo hater. So, like...
Hater?
Yeah, but I do...
You're allowed to just, like, not like it, but hater? Such a powerful
Such an aggressive
opinion.
word.
What games did you play as a child?
Well, you know, my first console was a Nintendo 64. I got it with a, you know, I got, what did I get? I got the Star Wars Episode 1 Racer bundle with my Nintendo 64. So I played a lot of that growing up.
Okay.
Hello? It's funny, I used to be super big into Smash Bros as well. I used to run tournaments for that in my area and everything. Oh, sorry, I'm focusing right here. The boss is very frustrating. Yeah, played a lot of Smash. Played a lot of Episode 1 Racer. I'm trying to remember like some of the other games from I played a ton of Pokemon growing up. So much Pokemon. What's some other? I would say like when I was so I'm 29 for reference. So I got an Xbox when I was around. I would say an Xbox is kind of like that's like my childhood console. You know, like I played a lot of Nintendo 64 stuff, but my Xbox is the one where I have like most of my memories in terms of like gaming stuff on. So like I was really into Halo. I was a huge Halo fan growing up. Like I remember the day I got Xbox Live, like the day Halo 2 came out, you know, and like so a lot of my memories are centered around Halo 2 specifically, from oh my god, okay, and yeah, mostly Xbox titles more than anything else. Blink's the Time Sweeper.
I mean, I feel you. I got a 360 in 2008 and played far too much Halo 3 for the ensuing 5 years.
Yep.
You know, trying to get recon and all that.
So true.
But wow, certified Nintendo hater.
Certified Nintendo hater. Yeah. Sorry, man.
Where's the hate come from?
Where's the hate come from? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure if you want to get into it on your show, but a lot of it comes from just a lot of their antics in like recent years in terms of, you know, how they handle stuff like Project Plus, for example, or the way that, you know, stuff like stuff related to that, or like the Super Mario 3D All-Stars and that whole debacle and stuff like that. I don't know if we want to really get into it right on your show, but yeah, that related to that. Yeah.
Understandable. I thought it was going to be like, I hate Zelda.
Oh, no.
Like,
No. Absolutely not. No, I can respect everything that Nintendo games are, right? Like I got, you know what I mean? I don't feel like Ocarina of Time is actually a bad game. You know, like I'm not like that.
Now, Super Mario 64, that is a bad game, but you know,
okay.
that doesn't. Great speedrun, unbelievably good speedrun. Bad game. Good for the time, does not hold up.
Void Runner sigil. Someone came through here.
That's my Nintendo hot take that I get flamed for.
I think my favorite really good game that doesn't hold up for me would be Elder Scrolls Morrowind. That's one that I loved growing up, but I just cannot go back and play. Granted, I haven't tried to play it like modded or anything like that, but I feel like from like a vanilla perspective, that game is rough. That game's rough.
Had you looked into the Skywind project at all? I haven't checked in on it in like 2 years.
Yeah,
now,
I feel like that's always. It feels like perpetually in development, right? But I'm still waiting for any of those like Sky Oblivion, like Skywind projects. I feel like it's got to be at some point, right? So.
Yeah. How many times do they need to release Skyrim before we get one of the fan projects?
So true.
I don't think I can fix this.
Big skip here.
Can I break it?
Uh-oh, I don't know if I have enough speed. Oh, boy. I don't know if this will make it. If it will, it'll be the first time I ate it like this. It felt weird, though. Come on, give it to me. Okay, wow, that was really close. Holy crap. That's the biggest skip in the whole game. Little 360.
How much time does that save?
Oh, my God. I mean, that's got to be, like, in the minutes. It's like there's so much stuff that we don't do with that.
Someone needs a lesson in
There's, like, an entire section. Like, I would say it cuts out at least, like, roughly, like, a quarter of this level. So, yeah, there's an entire area that we're supposed to do, like, a really extended climbing sequence to go meet this NPC named Ames. So we just completely skip interacting with him at all. We skip that whole climbing sequence. We skip the fall down afterward and a lot of platforming after that. It's a really, really, really big skip. So I like that one a lot.
Nice.
So this area introduces this mechanic that we just call toxic. So this water is all like, well, it's all poisonous at this point due to like a lot of the pollution from the civilization that once lived here. And so whenever that green, whenever like that little radioactive symbol is charging up, basically when it's green, we're good to go. But as soon as it turns red, we can't touch the toxic during that entire time. So you're going to see a lot of routing like kind of developed around working around this and avoiding it when possible. But, you know, but also skating on it when it's fast.
That's an interesting way to handle like a poison liquid.
Yeah, yeah, definitely an interesting mechanic overall. This mission Mirasee is, I think, in my opinion, the hardest mission in the game. I've already messed up one of the hard strats here, but there's just like so much difficult stuff you have to do here, and yeah, there's some of the strats are going to be particularly punishing. You notice that I kind of went to that middle building. I hit a checkpoint and then immediately went left. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to quit the menu, and that's going to warp me all the way back to that checkpoint. So there's a lot of very difficult and very difficult routing and strats we're about to do. So yeah, what is the name of this game? It looks awesome. It is awesome. It's called Solar Ash, made by the same developers as Hyper Light Drifter. It's very, very good. Love that strat. And also, this mission is the one I mentioned before that we're actually not playing on the easiest difficulty, despite this category not having a difficulty requirement. And this mission has the eye goop, or the anomaly, that is really, really, really hard to do. And that'll be not the next one, but the one after. So yeah. Also, really cool rail slip coming up here. This is a diagonal rail slip, as we call it. That one is specific. That one's pretty nuanced because you have to like let go of the rail grind button and then hold forward right at like a very specific moment. And then you also cancel the time slip at the same time. So I like that a lot. Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. Sorry.
Nice sound effects.
Thank you.
Speed noise is on point right now.
That is definitely a staple of Brian Auto streams, is, you know, frantic yelling at one point or another.
I'm a connoisseur of good speed noises.
Speed
so
noises is what you call them, huh?
Yeah. That's the old boy term for yeah, that what it is.
Speed noises. Yeah, for sure. All right. And I'm once again going to be making use of that, what's it called? Of that checkpoint at the end there. I'm going to quit the menu again to work back to it. You could also just take an intentional death to do this as well, but again, because we don't time load screens, it's like a little bit faster to use the quit to menu. How are we doing on time, by the way, Adef, in terms of like the overall session? Like how far?
We are an hour 15
Okay,
in.
cool.
So whether this run finishes or not, we'll take a break and then we'll get back into it. It also, like, you know, if it just works out with the way the runs go that, like, we end up under 3 or slightly over 3, like, it's all
Okay,
good.
cool. Good to know where I'm at. So you said an hour 15? Is that what you said? Okay,
yes,
cool. All right,
correct.
awesome. We're not even halfway in. That feels great. Okay, so this is the iGoop that is particularly challenging on the non-novice difficulty. We do it in an unintended way. We're supposed to use a rail usually for it, but we're not going to use a rail, and that makes it a little scary because we have a very small amount of time to actually do it. So here we go. Uh-oh, I could be dead here. Okay, there we go. See how close that was on the meter at the bottom? That's like, that was about as tight as it gets there.
Yikes.
Woo! Are you okay? You sounded like you had an angry moment. Not an angry moment. I am super terrified that I'm about to die and lose a minute moment. There's a distinct difference between those.
Almost done, Sid.
See if I get a cool slope boost here. Ah, I got it. I love that. If you hit like that very specific angle on that rock, you can just get a huge speed boost that takes you all the way over here. It's very nice. All right, you know what? Since we're doing a PB attempt, I'm not going to take the safety checkpoint here. Just kind of send this.
Should really fix my suit.
Cool. That's a super scary jump. And there's a safety checkpoint you can get that's only about like a 2-second detour, but figure I might as well just go for it. Because this run's not super good anyway. Oh! Okay. Oof, man. All right. Do you die if you don't hit those in time? Yes. So, well, you don't necessarily die, but what happens is you see like the texture of that goop is kind of like morphing and turning red. Basically, it superheats to like, I forget, like in the lore, it gets like, with whatever measurement they use, it gets into like the thousands or something. So it gets really flippin' hot. And then you just like die instantly if you touch it.
There are lots of...
Too much of this.
It's actually
My life support systems are
interesting that you say that. Radioactivity is one of the physical quantities in our real world that has like way too many units. There's like too many ways to describe radioactivity. And there's like genuinely not a lot of online resources about how to convert between some of them.
Oh, wow.
Because they're based on like different properties sometimes. Yeah, it's weird.
Interesting.
My junior year of college, we were working on we had to do like a design project based around, we were supposed to make a product that solved some kind of like physical thing. And so we were gonna make a like pocket-sized, cheap Geiger counter.
Right.
The goal being like, are we even capable of this? And when we started researching it, we were like, why are there so many ways to describe this? It's very weird.
Yeah, I believe for whatever, units they use in this game, it's like some unit that, it's not like a real life one. It's like one that exists.
Right,
Oh,
I
okay,
imagine.
gotcha, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was like Kelvin for a while, and then somebody corrected me, and they were like, nah, it doesn't have like any real world equivalent. And I was like, oh, okay. Fair enough. This boss has an interesting history where it used to be super bugged out. The way and like the gravity bubbles on like the shoulder plate here used to like overlap, and you would get launched into the stratosphere, and you would like basically just auto lose this boss phase and lose like a minute plus. And so it used to be this huge RNG point in a run that would just absolutely murder PB attempts. This was a really good Mirror, by the way, 3 seconds off my gold. Yeah, so that used to be a huge pain point for speedrunners, and then fortunately, like so many other great things that Heart Machine does, they were able to patch it out. So it stopped just like absolutely nuking everybody.
We're not even
Okay. So I would say PB at this point, considering my best possible time, is bordering on objectively just not possible. I would have to gold my next 2 splits by a combined like 16, 17 seconds, which I could probably gold peak, but I think I'll make this the no reset run for sure. So this one I just won't reset, I think. Maybe. We'll see. I'm at the point where I feel like I should probably just try and finish it out anyway. That's kind of how I feel. Like if I get through Mircy and the run is like not super terrible, I usually just try and like play it out anyway. So just because Luminous Peak, as it's called, is like my favorite mission in the game. My Zumo de Papaya, Blade LMAO, and I, we put a ton of effort into routing this level out, and it's got a really, really cool route to it. So I usually take the opportunity to play it when it's presented to me. So that said, some really bad stuff can happen here. So if the bad stuff happens, maybe we'll just reset, take a break, and then I'll do a no reset for like the last hour of the show or something like that. But we'll see. Otherwise, if it goes really well, I'll probably just play this one out all the way. Because I know that this is a split in particular that I can gold by a lot still, despite having a fair amount of time in this game. That was bad. Everything was good up until that point. Pulling out all the no bad stuff vibes I can. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Have I played Neon White yet? No, I have not actually. I played the game. I was on the Steam Neckfest broadcast, and I played the game for that a couple months ago, back when they had the demo out. Oh boy. Hold on. Oh, okay, that's a little annoying. All right, I'm gonna I'll do this one more time. If I mess that up again, I'll probably just call the run there for the time being. I had so little speed off there for some reason. Anyway, I was saying, but actually, since we're talking about, you know, following twitch.tv/BrianOtto and everything like that, aside from Solar Ash content right now, that is going to be the next thing I tackle. Because I was looking at Neon White as a speed game for a while, and I kind of like fell. All right, I kind of like fell out of it. And it's so weird. You know how I talk about you hit the hard stuff, mess up the easy stuff? Those are like 2 of the easiest strats that I just totally whiffed on. Super weird. All right, well, now that I'm here, I will just practice this really hard one, and then we'll probably take a break really quick here, since this run is great. Effectively over. Okay, that's like the hardest trick in the game. Okay, cool. That felt automatic. But yeah, Neon White, definitely going to be the next thing I tackle on stream. So...
Sweet. All right, gamers, don't go anywhere. There will be more PB Precipice, more BrianOtto, and more Solar Ash in just a moment. We're just going to go to some quick messages. We're going to get up and, stretch our legs, get some water, a little wellness break. Again, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few short minutes with more Solar Ash. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hot Fix. My name is Adef, and this is PB Precipice, the show that showcases runners doing actual PB attempts. Today, we have on BrianOtto showing off Solar Ash. But first, we've got some announcements here. Games Done Quick Highlights is a channel that features highlights of our GDQ Hotfix shows. Use the !highlights command in Twitch chat to learn more about our highlights. There's some excellent stuff on there, I promise. If you're watching on YouTube, go to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick. If you're interested in looking at our live content starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. And from now until July 15th, GDQ's revenue from subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered after taxes will be donated to Doctors Without Borders by Games Done Quick. So consider supporting the stream. BrianOtto.
Hello.
How are we feeling?
Good. Honestly, I was just thinking about like how much I enjoyed that last run. So yeah, I don't know. The run, anytime I get really deep into this game, I would say like the second half is like super enjoyable. It's always kind of like a motivator to like get runs going, I guess. So yeah, I'm doing well, doing all right.
Sick. Well, let's get right back into it whenever
cool.
You're ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Zweek, I added you in chat because we were just talking about speed noises, as Adaf calls them. And I was showing off the this week Blue's Clues era clip. The I was going through them all again. So I was like, is Week still here?
It's a good clip. It's a good clip.
What's up, Wolfenstein? I'm petting Dollar for you. Please pet Dragon for me. I will. Miss Dolly. #1 Basset Hound in my heart. One of my favorite things about this game from a speedrun perspective, kind of for a similar reason that I like Titanfall so much, is that we have our entire movement kit, like, from the get-go. We can just do everything immediately, and I like that a lot. There's a lot of that camera manipulation I talk about, where the angle that I hold my camera influences the gravity. I try and keep Rey centered on the screen, if I can, and then also angle my camera upward, which influences her to fall more at a, kind of like 45 to almost 90-degree angle to the ground. I mean, not quite 90 degrees, but, it is faster. Or fast, I should say.
Interference. Is this why I thought? What the hell is it?
$56? All right, 56 is pretty good here, actually. It's funny, the split is only, for me, the split's only a minute long, but I still have the mental split in my head that I keep track of.
It's important.
It's important.
It's an important part of speedrunning.
I have to know what my split's going to be, 8 seconds before the actual split comes up. I'm always trying to jump from peak to peak on these clouds because I don't want to get caught up on any of the, on like an upslope or something like that. Moves all my momentum.
Yeah, just to remind everybody, the show you are currently watching, PB Precipice, is just one of a slew of shows that all exist on the GDQ channel on a regular basis. So outside of the 2 main events in the year, we also have regular content every day here on the channel. And Adef, that's me, I run 2 shows. There's Challenger Approaching every other Friday night, and then this one, PB Precipice, every other Sunday morning/afternoon. And this show is all about showcasing runners doing actual PB attempts. It's called PB Precipice because I bring on runners who are on the precipice of a personal best. Whoa.
I love the current poll in chat. Is Dragon cute? The answer is yes. Also, that little like cutout that you see there was a drawing of Dragon, which is my dog that one of my old coworkers made a few years ago, and so I just have it up on my wall over there. I don't know where Dragon is right now. Sleeping somewhere. Okay. Also, I said I was going to bring it up at some point, and also Ray told me to bring it up. But are you
no?
Are you a baseball fan, Adaf, or what is the story here?
Oh my god. Okay, fine.
Oh, okay. We don't have to go there if you don't want to.
No. I like talking about it. It's just dumb.
Okay. All right.
The running bit with Ray is that we see how long we go in the show without there being a moment where this gets brought up.
Oh, okay. All right.
Currently, the record is like first 10 minutes.
Wow.
Is, I think, the fastest it's been brought up. Okay. So, am I a baseball fan? I'll answer that question first. Kind of. I don't watch a ton of baseball, but when the Kansas City Royals are in the playoffs, I become a religious baseball enjoyer.
Sure.
I will say I love going to a ballpark.
Yeah.
I really love being at the ballpark and, like, drinking a beer, having a hot dog, and hanging out with my friends.
It's like my favorite sort of live sporting event. Yeah, it's like it's a vibe. Is the only way I would describe it. It's really nice. Yeah. Especially
like, I don't know if you've been to minor leagues.
Yes.
But like, I find minor league games really enjoyable.
Yeah. Here in Portland, we have the Hillsboro Hops, which are the high A affiliate of the Arizona Diamondbacks, and I've been to several of their games. They're really, really fun.
Just stay down.
We in Kansas City we have the oh boy. Oh no, I'm gonna butcher this. Hang on, I can do this. Kansas City minor league. Kansas City Monarchs, that's right.
Yeah.
And then in Springfield, Missouri, which is a couple hours south of Kansas City, we have the Springfield Cardinals, which is the St. Louis Cardinals affiliate.
Gotcha.
Anyway, yes, baseball good. But many moons ago, we had Dangers and Fur on Challenger Approaching, and the game was Super Mario 3D World. The challenge was 380 stars damageless, I think. Fur was doing that. And there are lots of, you're not a Nintendo enjoyer, so you may not know. There are lots of baseballs in Super Mario 3D World that you can like pick up and throw at stuff. And for some reason, through a series of yes ands, we developed the lore that my uncle, I have an uncle apparently named Martin Baseball. And Martin Baseball is a baseball. He does not have a face or anything. He's not really anthropomorphized. He's just a baseball.
Okay.
And all he can say is baseball, but he is the CEO of baseball. Anywhere baseball is being played, he's present, administrating, legislating, etc. And occasionally, Martin will show up in chat during Challenger Approaching or PV Precipice because he's the de facto mascot now. And somebody has made a The Martin Baseball Twitch account.
Oh my.
And they come in and only post the baseball emoji. It's very good content.
That's excellent. I was wondering what direction this was going, and I like that direction quite a lot.
Now you know about Martin. Somehow there's no Martin Baseball fan art yet, which I'm kind of disappointed about. I have not seen any Martin Baseball fan art to my knowledge. And I would like to make a public call for that to change. I feel
like it's inevitable.
If you make Martin Baseball fan art and take as many liberties as you want with it, tweet it at me at 8F Games on Twitter, please. I would love to see it. I imagine him perhaps wearing a hat. Or maybe he has a mustache. Unclear, but he is a baseball. That's it.
That's
now
it.
you know. You know all the things that I know
honestly,
about
I thought that was going to be so much more cursed than that. From the way that Ray was hyping it up. Yeah, no.
No, I think the way Ray talked about it is just because more cursed things often follow or come up around. Like it's just, I don't know. I'm a very cursed person.
Sure.
GDQ baseball emote, Pog.
That'd be cool.
It will get used by very few people. Who knows?
Oh, actually, you know what? Okay, I have a little fun brag to do. Actually, that's baseball related.
Okay.
That I'll throw out there because this is just so wild to me that it's still happening.
Oh, I saw this.
You probably saw
this on Twitter.
Yeah. So there is an independent baseball league within the Northwestern. It's not. I guess it's sort of indie ball, but basically it's a summer league for collegiate players that are trying to get into the major league system. That allows them to play basically when college isn't going on. And so there's a lot of alumni of this league that are playing in the majors right now, especially even on like the Mariners, like Mitch Haniger, for example. And so the Portland has a team in this league called the Portland Pickles. And I am going to be throwing first pitch at a Portland Pickles game this Friday, actually, which is really cool. So yeah, they put out some call on Twitter recently that were like, hey, you should nominate people to throw first pitch, and then like my stream viewers ended up picking it up and nominating me over and over, and now I'm going to be throwing first pitch at one of their games, so I'm very excited for that.
Are you really nervous?
Maybe a little bit. I don't know. I'm just like I don't think I ever thought I'd be throwing first pitch at like any baseball game in my life, so I'm excited for it, to say the least. Yeah.
Are you gonna? So there's a big question when it comes to throwing the first pitch at a game. You can either take the presidential route, which is just throw a bit of a toss to the catcher, and it's around home plate or whatever, and that's fine, and everybody claps. Or you can take the former pitcher route or athlete route, which is where you attempt to throw a pitch.
It's a good question, actually. Oh, did I get it? Oh my god, I got it. I'm gonna give it my best. I'm gonna give it the old college try for sure.
Let's go.
I'll give it a 10. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna like. Yeah, it'll have. It's not gonna have a ton of gas on it, but it's gonna have a little bit of heat, right? I mean, hell, I might.
Okay, so we're looking to throw like 60, 50, 60.
I'll be happy if it hits 50.
All right.
I'll be happy if it. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of disc golf lately, right? So maybe we'll give it like a sidearm thrower or something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. All right. You're gonna give it a knuckleball?
My best throw in disc golf is like we call it like a flex forehand. So you know, maybe we'll give it a little sidearm action.
Give a non-traditional pitch. Yeah. Do you get to say anything?
I don't know.
Before the game.
I have no idea. That's a good question. I don't even know how I'm going to be introduced or whatever, but yeah. So, yeah. It's kind of a mystery to me at this point. The Portland Pickles in general are kind of they're kind of like a mystifying organization. Very strange.
How's that?
They're just like, I don't know. I mean, like, they're very like, I would describe them like if a baseball club could be terminally online. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? That's like kind of like their vibe, I guess is how I would describe it.
Be sure to have somebody film it so you can post it to Twitter.
Yeah, my partner's gonna come and hopefully their family too, so yeah, that'll be fun.
Nice. Well, if you're in the Portland area and you want to support a local ball club and a local streamer,
Pickles games are really fun. I big recommend going to them. My old baseball coach will yell at you if you throw it sidearm. I might anyway, honestly. Oh, nice, I got that. Cool. Oh, and nobody asked, but my favorite baseball team, that's been my favorite team my whole life, is the Mariners. So go M's. Go M's, love the M's. Hit a home run.
Hit a
home run.
Play the game.
Oh boy, this is where it gets a little scary because we're going uphill. All right. Fortunately, the kind of gravity kind of works with you there, so it's not too bad. How about favorite pickle? I don't know if I should. I mean, pickle. I don't dislike pickles. If pickles are on something, I will always enjoy pickles, but I don't actively seek out pickles to eat on their own.
I have the same opinion.
Yeah,
I have the same opinion.
Yeah, if I, like relish on my hot dog, pickles on my burger, whatever, totally a fan. And I love pickled things in general.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, love pickled things. But I'm not gonna like buy a jar of pickles and just start munching on one, right?
Yeah.
Not a certified pickle hater. No. I'm definitely a pickle enjoyer. I would not call myself a pickle enthusiast.
I feel like I'm like a pickle neutralist.
Pickle neutralist. I gotcha.
I never order them on things, but if it comes on by default, I will leave it.
Kimchi? Love kimchi. Definitely a kimchi fan.
I like pickled peppers.
Pickled peppers slap. Hey, Amos, good to see you. Hello. So many homies from the stream in here. Very nice to see. Okay, this went better than the last few times I tried it.
You too can become a homie in the stream if you go to twitch.tv/.
Whoa, epic plug.
Follow. Epic plug.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think we talked about this a little bit before the stream, Adif, but I've been like kind of avoiding streaming Neon White because one of the things like from like a streamer perspective that I find really hard to do is like, maybe I was talking to Ray about this, I forget, is like reading out, it's like reading out text to the chat. So like if you just have like text on screen, like I feel like from a broadcaster perspective, it is like too awkward just to sit there in silence and read it, right?
Right.
So when I have a lot of stuff that I have to, and I know there's a fair amount of voice acting in Neon White. When there's like, but there's also a fair amount of like non-voice acted segments. So when I have to constantly be reading stuff out, I find that like so exhausting. Like super.
Oh, I don't read text.
Yeah,
out
I
loud.
find it to be really, really exhausting. So
You can thank me later.
it may not have been voice acted in the demo. I remember there was voice acted stuff, but there was also like significant portions that were not voice acted. So I don't know. I was just kind of like not looking forward to like basically having to read out significant portions of a visual novel to my audience, right? So I've been like almost actively avoiding it. But basically I've heard from some folks that like the gameplay is really good and like the narrative's kind of whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm like, for some reason that like really remotivated me to play the game again. So yeah.
I just, I don't know. I'm a big proponent of the like, if you're giving a presentation on something,
Yeah.
your PowerPoint should include all the information,
Right.
right? Or at least bullet pointed information, but you should never be reading off the PowerPoint.
Right.
ever.
Sure.
I feel the same way personally about streaming games with non-narrated voice lines.
Okay.
I have no desire to read them out loud.
So what's your approach to it then? Curious.
I just read it in my head and then advance the text when I'm
Oh,
done.
wow. Okay. All right.
It's maybe not the best viewer experience, but it's me that's playing the game, you goofballs. But I mean, occasionally, if we're like having a goofy stream or whatever, if people are like, please voice this line,
sure.
like I'll do
For
it.
sure.
There's at least one more anomaly in this sector.
But yeah, I don't know. And also, not very often am I playing games like that on stream anyway.
Sure.
That's very rare.
Sure.
The vast majority of the games I play either have no lines or I'm speedrunning something.
Right. That makes sense. Good pace.
And like, you don't need me to read, I picked up leftovers every time I play Pokemon. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, I don't know. It's a rare thing to come up on my stream, but I don't usually read it out loud.
Oh, by the way, this cutscene is, I haven't really talked about this at all. Because of the way that we enter this area, the cutscene gets bugged out and the boss doesn't get an intro cutscene. And so we have to quit to menu here to fix that effectively. That's why the cutscenes are all buggy and I have to do that. I do that quit to menu is to basically allow the boss to actually exist. Otherwise they're like stuck in the tower over there.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's a similar reason for why we do a quit to menu after the very first iGoop in the game too. It's because the game will soft lock if we don't do that, and that one also has the benefit of like teleporting us to further ahead in the map. So, oh boy, oh this is not a punishing death because it's gonna put me right here and then I can just hop on the boss. It's just a little silly when that happens. Probably about 3-second time loss max. A little bit of a boony death. Oh. Thank you. I wonder if I might get a good cycle here too, actually. Yeah, this is looking good. All right. I think maybe. Again, he's got to attack instantly.
Never messed with a Void Runner before, huh?
Oh! Whoa! What is going on? Oh wait, is he attacking? Or is she attacking? Okay, all right. I don't really know what happened there. I'm not gonna lie. I think I was a little bit late, or I think I was a little bit late on the finishing that boss fight cycle. So
That was certainly
it was
something.
certainly something. Yeah, you can see how I kind of got like shot forward when I kind of like catapulted off the momentum from that tentacle, and basically that times 1,000 is what used to happen on that boss on Mirasee, Rust Dragger. That would just like kill runs. Fortunately, like I said, that got patched out, so. I think that one almost had the benefit, you might say, of happening to casual players a lot, so it was like high priority to get patched. And which also benefited speedrunners. I appreciate the kind words. Thank you for that. All right, what do
There's no schedule. This is hotfix. I mean, sometimes they'll still have the command updated for daily content, but today it's just this. There's no show after us today. Hotfix content will resume tomorrow with Awfully Silly, and that's never happened before. But this is it for today. Just this run. Nice little cozy.
Yeah, it's been a great time.
I'm glad you've enjoyed.
Yeah. No, it's just kind of nice. Yeah, whenever I've been on hotfix or really any sort of like marathon style presentation before, right? It's always like a rehearsed, prepared thing, right? That you it's very much more of like a presentation type deal. And so being able to just kind of like like I'd throw up a stream on any other day, and just kind of hang out and talk about stuff for a while and do resets and all that stuff. It's nice. Yeah.
That's the goal.
And honestly, like, you know, I haven't been streaming a lot lately for various reasons. You know, part of that because I got super invested in disc golf and stuff, but also because I kind of like fell out of love with it for a bit. So it's nice to have an excuse to do it again as well. So I appreciate being on here for sure.
It is my distinct pleasure. I met you at SGDQ and was like, this is a resident gamer.
Thanks.
And that's it. That's the whole story.
It's going to be muted for a sec while I'm alt-tab. Excuse me. My desk setup is right next to a big living room window. So sometimes when the sunlight changes outside, I need to adjust the gain and white balance on my camera a little bit. There we go. All right. Oh, and just for anybody that's wondering, like, oh my gosh, like, why are they not resetting? It's super red. Oh my god, you're 30 seconds behind. Actually, if you look, the thing that I always keep my eye on is the best possible time. The best possible time still says 56:32, which is well under what my PB is. So as long as that number is there, I know I got a chance, and I know I can. Well, I know I got a chance. That's the end of that sentence, I suppose. Do I have a PDGA number? I'm not that into disc golf yet. No, I've only been playing seriously for probably about a little over a month. So I'm still very much like a baby with the sport. Still working on things like, you know, like my my backhand form and everything like that. So I'm still learning all the nuances and stuff. No way. Wow, I failed that again. All right, that's frustrating. That's a...
For what it's worth.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're nearing the 2 hour mark.
Okay.
We could, I know it feels like we just took a break because we did. Oh, well, we could, hang on. Give me one second. Keep playing.
Okay, all right. I'm just gonna go practice this anyway, so yeah. I was gonna say, if we're nearing the 2 hour mark, it'd probably be good to do a no reset. Get a no reset up there. But golf, but without all the environmental disaster attached. Sign me up. Exactly, Pants Ghost. Exactly, dude. So by the way, for people that are wondering, this run is effectively dead. I'm just gonna go practice the strat that I messed up because it's a very difficult one. Yeah, that's actually something I really love about disc golf. Actually, is the fact that so many courses, you know, are effectively just like little tee pads and baskets that are placed in, you know, that are placed in like public parks or like forested areas, and you know, it's like, yeah, there's like little to no environmental impact, and yeah, you get to play in these like really beautiful like forested or like wooded locations. Like, it's super cool, super duper cool. You've been playing for about 2. Okay,
all right.
Yeah, what's up? Hit me up.
Sorry, I just totally cut
you
off. So here's the plan. Here's the game plan.
Game plan.
We're gonna throw to a quick break. Yep. Our second and final quick break. And then when we come back, we'll do the no reset. How's that sound?
Sounds perfect. Sounds good to me. I'll practice this in the meantime. Yeah, for sure.
Sweet. All right, everybody, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with more GDQ, more PB Precipice, more Solar Ash, and more Brian Otto in just a moment. We're just going to take a quick break, stretch our legs, get some water, and the no reset run. The whole game run is coming up right after the break. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. My name is Adef, and this is PB Precipice, the show all about real PB attempts. We are back with Brian Otto. Some quick announcements, really quick. Please do check out at Games Done Quick on Instagram to get bite-sized clips from our hotfix shows and see what happens at the events. And tweet at Games Done Quick. Let us know, what was your favorite run at Summer Games Done Quick 2022? Was it Solar Ash by Brian Otto, or was it Pokemon Emerald Evolution Chaos by Adef and company? And it can only be those two things. And that's it. Brian Otto, whenever you're ready, let's get this no reset underway, and let's see what Solar Ash has to offer.
Awesome. All right. Yeah. So for better or for worse, this is going to be, I believe, the final run of the day. And also this one's going to be a no reset. So I've been resetting for about 2 hours. We've got a couple of deep runs, but this one we're going to take all the way, regardless of what happens. So, yeah. All right. And if anything, like, I feel like I have quite a lot of hours in this game, but I feel like there are still some of those later splits that I can really get good golds on. If you're not really familiar with what I'm talking about when I say good golds, I'm talking about a gold split. If you look on my timer, it'll say like PB and best. So I'm basically trying to set a new best time for like an individual segment if I'm talking about getting a new gold, for example. So that's kind of like whenever I'm doing a no reset, that's kind of the mindset I take into it, is like I want to try and get, you know, there's like a couple segments that I really want to tackle to try and get a best time on. So even if, you know, the PB chances were to die, for example, that's kind of like what I use to kind of keep myself motivated and keep going, because I find personally as a speedrunner, whenever I'm like tasked with doing like specifically a no reset, like outside of like a marathon environment, for example, I find it to be like really almost like, I guess I can't think of another word other than like unmotivating. I think there's probably a different word for that that's more specific, but that's the one that immediately comes to mind. I don't like doing no resets. It's hard for me to like commit to something like that, right? So that's usually what I look forward to. Isn't he the guy that holds world record for Titanfall 2? Actually, I used to be, not as of a few months ago, when Bladen got a blisteringly fast 1:16.05. Still got third place, but I haven't been running Titanfall for quite a long time at this point. Halo Infinite was good. Hey, I couched for that run. That was good. Demotivating? Yeah, okay. I don't know why I couldn't think of the right prefix there, but demotivating would be the one, I think. Yes. Yeah, I've done a little bit of commentary on what we have going on in this game, but, you know, I haven't really covered everything like I did in my SGDQ 2022 run, which you should go watch. The VODs on YouTube. It's a really good run. If anybody in chat has kind of any questions about any of the game mechanics or how things work, I am more than happy to answer them, or just kind of like take a little Q&A or anything like that. So,
I've got a question.
Yeah, what's up?
What got you into speedrunning, and what was your first speed game?
Okay, cool. All right, I like this one. Yeah, so, let's see. So, I mean, basically, Twitch is effectively what got me into speedrunning in like a kind of weird way. So when in my first years of college, that was around like 2012, I got really big. This is going to be a long story. I got like really big into League of Legends, right? Which was like still very much on the come up at that time. And so I wanted to try and watch more pros play League of Legends to get better at the game. So I found streaming websites like Own3D and Twitch and stuff like that. And then eventually, once I started kind of getting disinterested in League, I wanted to start branching out to watch other streamers. So I found like other broadcasters like Lethal Frag back when he was doing the 2-year live stream challenge. And then of course, I think the first speed run that I watched was in like AGDQ. I believe it was AGDQ 2012, I think, or SGDQ 2012. One of those were like the first GDQs that I watched. And so that was kind of like, I think, my first real big exposure to it. And then also it was Siglemic. Back when he used to do 120-star attempts, and he would get like, you know, 10, 12K viewers, 15K viewers back in like early 2010s, right? So that was like huge for that time. And so GDQ and Siglemic were basically my introductions to speedrunning, and I watched speedrunning all the time, basically all the time from that point out. And I'd look forward to every GDQ and stuff like that. I was streaming kind of intermittently at that time as well. I mostly did Smash Bros content, especially like Project M. I used to be on the dev team for that. So I stream a lot of Project M and stuff, but I also wanted to get into speedrunning since like even nowadays there's a pretty big overlap between Smash and speedrunning, and I kind of wanted to be a part of that. So funnily enough, my first speed game actually was I don't really count it as my first speed game, but it was Super Mario Sunshine. I just wanted to speedrun a game that seemed cool. I had never played Sunshine casually, so I tried running it, and like that was pretty short-lived. You know, when I was trying to learn it, I was just like watching the world record at the time and like trying to mimic stuff, and like it was not. I had no idea what I was doing. I had absolutely no idea. So I tried that for maybe like, you know, less than a month, and I kind of stopped for a while. And then one day in it was like late 2016, Titanfall 2 had come out, and they were having a free weekend for the multiplayer. And so I got into the multiplayer on the free weekend. I think that was like November 2016, and I played that a ton. And what I really loved about Titanfall 2 was the movement, even before I even knew what I was getting myself into with the movement. You know, from like a very baseline casual perspective, I was just like, wow, I love this movement system. I feel like if I can imagine it, then I can do it. And so around January 2017, I was like, well, there's got to be speedruns of this game. Let me check it out. And of course there was. So, yeah, I remember when I wanted to learn the Titanfall run, I watched the world record at the time, which at the time was 1 hour 34 minutes by an Angry Albino. And then I had a notepad out next to me, and I literally took notes on anything that I thought I might forget. And then as soon as I was done watching the record, I just did a run of the campaign and tried and like referenced the notes when I couldn't figure out what to do or something like that. So, and then that was effectively my first speed game, and I've been running Titanfall 2 ever since then. So we're looking at about 5.5 years. At this point, it'll be going on 6 coming next January. Granted, I haven't been running it a ton lately, but that was effectively how I got my start. I've been running that ever since. At this point, I have somewhere around like 4,500 hours in the game, somewhere around that range, and that community is great. I have almost all of my closest friends within like the speedrunning scene these days originate from the Titanfall community. So yeah, got a lot of love for Titanfall and that community and that run. There's an answer.
Story.
Thank you.
Great story.
All right, I would like this to go better than it has been. Oh, this is perfect. Oh, okay. Ask and ye shall receive, I guess. That was the best I did it all day. Cool. Very much in flow state right there. That was really nice.
I love talking about speedrun flow state.
Yes. Yeah, me too. Me too.
It's legit, dude. It's real.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. Yeah. Especially
like,
when you're able to overlearn something and things just become automatic. Like I can't tell you how many. Hold on, I have an audio key here. I can't tell you how many gold splits I've gotten when I'm like just talking to chat the whole time.
Yes.
And like not paying attention, right? And your brain is just, things are just firing off, and you're like, okay, yeah. It's really interesting. It's really fascinating, actually.
There's also, there's like the subsection of flow state that's like I don't know if you've ever been a runner, Brian Otto, like an outside 5K happener, but you're probably familiar with the term runner's high.
Yes.
I'll let you try this trick first. I know this is a hard one.
All right, go ahead.
I took up running around the same time I took up speedrunning in like 2012.
Nice.
And I ran all throughout, that was high school. And it was funny, my 5K time and my Mega Man 1 PB were constantly competing. For a long time, they were exactly the same.
That's awesome. I love that.
But regardless, I had never experienced runner's high before. In fact, I thought it was not a real thing.
Interesting.
And then it happened to me. And it is the most indescribable thing. Like, you truly feel like a god for like a short or maybe long stint of time where like suddenly you're not tired anymore. You feel like you could run forever.
Oh, that's awesome.
And you're like, your body feels effortless. Like you feel like moving feels effortless. And you feel really fast. And for me, it lasted like the first time it happened, maybe I was running a half marathon and like miles like 6 to 9 or 10 like just didn't feel real. Anyway, I feel like there is a similar corollary in speedrunning where like there are moments where you just, and sometimes you will see players say it. You've said it 2 or 3 times today alone. You just say like, I feel like I'm moving really well right now. Like something clicks for a short stint of time and you're like, the game feels like an extension of yourself.
Yes. Yep, big agree with all this.
And it's, again, hard to describe, but it's just like, it also, the nerves go away if you're on good PB pace, if you're lucky, and you're like, yeah, I don't see any way I could possibly fail. You're like, this is it.
Yeah, big agree.
It's interesting.
It's fascinating. It's really cool to talk about, I think, too. Yeah.
Human brain, man. Weird thing.
So true. Speaking of Titanfall, I was looking at, Sapphire was looking at your comment. I wanted to shout out Sapphire because Titanfall is going to be in Frame Fatales in, well, it's going to be in Frame Fatales on the Saturday of the event, and this is the first time it's being shown off at that event. It's really cool, and it's going to encourage people to watch. Damn. It's so funny when you're talking about playing well when you're talking to chat. And then I just lost like 20 seconds to that. That's pretty funny. Anyway, Titanfall 2 is going to be in Frame Fatales, and that is a speed game. Hello? That is a speed game that is really, really close to my heart for obvious reasons, and I very much encourage people to check that out when it's in, or when it's on, I should say. That's too bad. This was actually like a really, really, really good capital as well. Like, I was excellent up until that point, so hopefully the time hit won't be too bad from that.
Yes, we are in the final run of the day.
Yeah, this is a no reset, so no matter what happens, this run is finishing. I am a being of chaos, so true. All right, I'm curious what the time loss is going to look like here. I'm assuming, if I'm lucky, I'm probably losing 20 seconds minimum. I think is probably what I'm looking at for something like that. This will be a little weird too. Whenever you're kind of like, I guess I'd say behind on this boss, like normally when you do it fast, it moves through the city at a way that you've at least seen before. When you're really behind on it like this, you'll start to move through parts of the city that, you know, you are a lot less practiced on. So hopefully this isn't too bad here. I've definitely seen some patterns, I guess you might say, before that feel almost like unwinnable, but this wasn't too bad. There we go. I've been missing so many streams, but at least I could catch Bride's GDQ time. I haven't been streaming a lot for what it's worth, Sailor Hill. So you haven't been missing me a whole lot. Okay, we're looking like, yeah, gonna be around 20 seconds lost here, so. Called that almost on the dot. So again, just looking at that best possible time, that's still very low. Still 44 seconds faster than my PB. So that's kind of like my motivator right now. I may be 30 seconds behind, but I know that that is not a forever thing. I'm just happy that I'm going to be able to play Mirror Sea and Peak, because those levels are the two hardest in the run, but have some of my favorite movement sequences overall.
It is nice when there's parts of the game you look forward to playing.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of like my big motivator for trying to get a run through Garden, is it means I got to play Mirror Sea and Peak, and yeah, those are always really good times. All right. This jump's always tricky because I have to be just over the kind of the lip of the ledge here to get this triple. There we go. Oh, and I mentioned it before too. I haven't done a ton of like marathon style commentary while I've been doing these PB attempts, but if folks in chat, since I told that long story earlier, if folks in chat have questions about any like the mechanics of this game or the speed run or anything like that, I am more than happy to talk about that. I'm not going to be doing too much like marathon style commentary only because only because I am like trying to put together. My goodness, I am trying to. I'm gonna shut up for a second.
You okay there?
All right, there we go. I am trying to put together a decent run and currently failing. So, if anybody has questions about the game, I would be more than happy to answer them. Wow, that fell apart real quick. Holy schmoly. The platforming here is really tricky. Yeah. Can we not? Thank you. The platforming here is really tricky because everything's kind of like on a slanted angle, so you can't hold the skate button at all because then you'll kind of tend to like just kind of naturally slide down that slope, and woof, that was rough. I remember watching Bri route this. It was a lot of fun. That's like, I really enjoy running new games for that reason. Because, I don't know, just that first like month of the game where everybody's on the same playing field and everybody's discovering stuff and like the routing process. It's like so fun. That's like one of my favorite, that's like the reason I like to run new releases, is because it's just so enjoyable. It's like it's such like a very specific moment in time that like is very rare, I would say, within speedrunning, right? Like that like stuff like that really only ever happens once, unless like there's some random like huge discovery found for your speed game or something, right? So yeah, I really love running new games for that reason. I may have missed this, but is there an advantage to standard difficulty over the easiest? Yeah, so if you look in the top left corner, we have our shield cells. That's effectively our health. And when you start on standard, you start with one less shield cell. And every time you defeat a boss, there's an animation that plays out where your shield cell gets crushed. However, if there's no shield cell to crush, then the animation doesn't play. So by starting with one less health, that means we experience one less shield cell crush. Say that 5 times fast. Animation. And it saves about 6 seconds. Because the difficulty doesn't really affect any other part of the game from like a speed perspective. So some of my favorite watching of all time was watching Bri route Doom Eternal and Deathloop. Exactly. Yeah, that stuff's fun. That stuff is fun. You know what's funny? I like forgot I even ran Deathloop. I forgot I speedran that game. That was like that was like such a brief moment in time, right? Where like, I don't know, it's just yeah, I forgot I even was a part of that. Running Doom Eternal all collectibles when that game came out. That was so fun. Because it was just like, you know, everyone was focused on 90% at the time, right? So it was just like me and like 2 other people just going so hard at putting together this massive route. Yeah. All right, I'm doing it. I'm officially switching to average splits. I'm switching to average splits.
The death of a run.
It's true. It's
Viewed
true.
in real time.
Yep.
Sad moment.
That's how you know you're really doing a no resets, when you switch to the average.
Then when you switch to sum of worst, you're really on. You know.
Then you're really feeling it.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm still looking forward to playing Mirror Sea and Peak and hopefully getting some golds on there, because I know I can still beat my gold on those levels by quite a bit.
It's so funny, like, splits are so arbitrary and technically mean nothing.
They mean literally nothing. Yeah.
But we are so affected by them. I mean, yes, they're great data collection tools and an excellent benchmark of progress.
Exactly.
But, like, technically they should not affect how you play, but they totally do.
They absolutely do.
Like green split make good chemicals. Green split
you know
give me
green
the good
split
brain
do?
Chemicals. What?
Green split also equal better viewer retention. It's kind of wild too, right?
Let's go.
So, yeah, it's interesting. It's funny. I have like been in multiple speedrun streams where the runners will talk about how they specifically like will make like custom splits or something that are like very easy to run against in the early game because it makes people stick around more. Pretty fascinating. Yeah, yeah. I know someone who made all their splits green behind or ahead, just so people would see green splits when they tune in. Kind of interesting, yeah, yeah. It definitely has like a big impact on a speedrun stream, I feel like, a lot of the time, especially if you're pushing for, if you're like very publicly pushing for like a top time or something. Control was my first game I tried to be fast in. Control's a very interesting speed game. Yeah, very unlike anything else. Whoa. Very unlike anything else I've ran. It's kind of weird that I even ran it in the first place because it's very objectively like not like a Brian Otto speed game. It's not movement based. There's like obscene amount of out of bounds and like glitches that skip massive amounts of content and stuff. You know, it's very much not like the traditional like inbounds, movement-based, very high-speed, visceral run that I would normally do, but it's still like one of my favorite games I've ever ran. Okay, that's a really good cycle. Whoa, camera. That was terrifying. I really enjoyed this boss phase. Played that really well. That was really fast.
I bring this up on the show sometimes when we talk about split colors because obviously it comes up.
Yeah.
And there is an NES speedrunner called Jimmy Poopins, who's a friend of mine. And he has been competing for world record in Ninja Gaiden 2 for like several years now. And notably, every single color on his splits is gold. So
that's
like
great.
Saving time, losing time, actual gold splits, etc. They're all gold.
I love that. Do I play the Pathless since I'm into movement-based games? I watched that run at SGDQ. It was really good. I have not played it. It has been recommended to me multiple times, though. So that's definitely like, it's on my radar, for sure. Very beautiful game, for sure.
It is not Mr. Poopins, it's Dr. Poopins. The man has a PhD in statistics.
You know what I just realized, Adef? You're a big Halo fan, yeah?
I like Halo, yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm a huge Halo 3 fan.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So I just realized this. I was wondering why like nobody's commented on it yet, but I realized they probably can't hear my split sounds. So for Christmas last year, one of my good friends, a really good Doom Eternal runner actually, Bloodshot 9001, his Christmas gift to me was that he did a cameo, or he ordered a cameo from Jeff Steitzer, who, if people don't know Jeff Steitzer, he is the voice of Halo multiplayer. He's the guy that says, you know, like double kill and stuff like that, right? He ordered a cameo from Jeff Steitzer where so all of my split sounds are his now, or like voices from him. So like when I get a gold split, it's Jeff saying gold split, or like when I'm red, he says like losing time and stuff like that. It's super sick. So I was wondering why nobody commented on it, but I realized that's probably not coming through the stream. But yeah,
correct.
all of my split sounds are Jeff Steitzer, and it's super duper cool. Yeah, that like if anybody is curious whatsoever, there is a video on my YouTube, which is, you know, youtube.com/BrianOtto, where it yeah, it's called, like, I think I just called the video like the best Christmas gift I've ever received or something like that. And basically it just shows the video where Jeff Steitzer's reading stuff off, and he talks a bit about, he even has a whole segment where like he like says a lot of Halo, or not, a lot of Titanfall 2 movement tech like in his voice. So he'll say like tap, strafe, and stuff like that. It's like really cool. It's a great video.
That's really adorable.
Yeah. So many times when I'm streaming, I'll have people come in like, is that the Halo announcer on your splits? How did that even work? So yeah, very, very cool. Live split
Yeah.
customization is an interesting and very enjoyable aspect of the speedrunning hobby for me personally.
That much is evident. That much is evident based on the quality of layout.
Thank you.
I find
Thank you.
it is a black box where, like, if I invest too much time into it, I will never stop.
It's true. It's true.
Never be clean.
So yeah, I've played. I mean, I have an unbelievable amount of hours in Halo 3.
Yeah.
Because that was such a huge game in my youth.
Right.
And then I've played Reach and ODST and bits and pieces of 1 and 2.
Gotcha.
But those are all the Halo games I've played.
Oh, you know what? Since we're going for gold splits, I think I am actually, just for a little bit of, and we're doing another reset, just for like a very small amount of safety, I am going to turn the difficulty back down to novice, just so I don't get tripped up by that really, really difficult, eye goop in, that only takes like 3 seconds to, that really difficult eye goop in Mirror Sea. Because I want this run to finish and I want it to be good, so I'm gonna, or as good as it can be. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that.
Word.
I did that in the GDQ run as well. It's like very minimal investment for a lot of safety. We watched the entire video like 5 times during that stream when basically when Bloodshot sent me the message, was like, here's your Christmas gift. Yeah. I was just sitting there in disbelief, right? I just like could not believe what I was watching. Jeff Steitzer saying freaking lurch and stuff like that. It was just so weird. It was wild. Especially when, like, you know, someone like that is such like a huge part of your childhood, you know, like everybody knows the Halo announcer, right? Yo, what's up, waifu? Thanks, dude.
Yo, it's waifu.
Oh, this will be interesting. I don't know if he's gonna hit me through. I can't believe I did not go through. That's actually ridiculous. Wow. All right.
For now.
So I gotta manipulate this again. Come on, buddy. Come on, bucko. Okay, now this should be good. There we go. All right. As soon as the screen goes black, I knew I got it. Oh, this always gets a little sketchy, though, when you're kind of jumping around on the mushrooms. There we go. Oh, please let me through. Thank you. Always a relief getting that goop dash up to that top of that, what do you call that? The threshold, the door. I don't know what. There's probably a specific name for that part of a door that I can't think of. Door frame. That one's really tricky, and if you mess it up, the backup for it is hard. So getting that first try is always kind of like a, because it's such a small moment in the run, but the backups for it are just like very stressful for like really no particular reason. Nice. Halo Reach is amazing. Halo Reach is, yeah. I used to call it my favorite Halo. I don't know if it's still my favorite. I don't know if it's my favorite Halo, but I feel like in terms of like, it's like the most complete package of like any Halo game in terms of like everything it offered.
I would agree with that.
Really diverse firefight, an incredible, like Forge was amazing in Halo Reach at the time. Obviously they've expanded.
Yeah.
So good. I mean, the custom modes, like the campaign was like one of the best in the series. I think looking back on it now, you know, like I don't know if I'd still call it my favorite Halo. Like my favorite might be 3 now. You know, like from a nostalgia perspective, it's 2 because that's where all my memories are. You know, but yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of love for Reach, even if it's not necessarily my favorite anymore.
I think I really liked Reach a lot. I thought it changed the multiplayer in a really interesting way.
Yeah.
From 3, which I was jazzed about. Something that is stupid for me to have been upset about was one of the reasons I loved the Forge in Halo 3 so much was because of how janky like you had to be if you wanted to do cool stuff with it.
Yeah,
like
really
had there's all this like community tech, like merging, where like you would place an object on top of another object, quit out, re-enter, and the two objects would like merge together.
I remember that.
And
yeah.
I loved doing all that stuff, but the Reach Forge was too easy to use, which again is a weird thing. Like the restrictions of Halo 3 Forge were what made it fun for me, I think.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Sure. So
Halo
like,
Reach Forge is undeniably better.
What do you say? Like it almost kind of had like a puzzle game aspect to it that you enjoyed or something?
Yeah,
or?
exactly. I love what cool things can I make with all these restrictions and glitches and stuff. Whereas in Reach, it was like the world was my oyster, and that was almost too many degrees of freedom for me.
Huh, fair enough. Yeah, I understand that actually. Also, speaking of restrictions, somebody in chat asked, what is a restricted run? I've never heard of that. So that just refers to the category type. Restricted basically means there are like restrictions on like what glitches or tricks we can do within the run. So it is very specifically not no major glitches, right? This is not a no major glitches run. There's still some pretty intense stuff I'm going to be doing, like from a speedrun perspective, right? But basically, restricted categories are going to change from community to community. Within the Solar Ash speedrunning community, restricted means that it's restricted basically is a category that's focused more on exploits that are centered more around exploits that are accomplished by abusing things within the movement system in the game. So rather than using like a glitch that teleports you halfway across the map, we are using something that abuses the fact that when we touch a rail, when we grind it, we get a speed boost, and that's not capped. So we can stack multiple speed boosts and then like launch ourselves halfway around the map instead. So, the effect that's achieved is similar, but you're going about it in a much more involved way. So that's kind of what this category is centered around. So, I forgot to split. It is very much an arbitrary category, but I think that's a good thing rather than a bad thing. So it's very much a category centered around stuff that speedrunners enjoy and want to do. So, yeah. Why is the Halo Reach campaign so difficult? It is hard. It is hard, isn't it? Yeah, I feel like one of the reasons for that is that I've always, the way I've always thought about it was that like Bungie, and this is just what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for here? Not conjecture. This is just speculation.
Theory.
Speculation. Thank you. But I always felt like one of the reasons the Reach campaign was like a bit more difficult was because I felt like Bungie kind of had a problem to solve where like in Halo 3, obviously, like I feel like obviously like you were the Covenant were allied with you to a certain extent, or at least factions of them were. And it definitely had a much different tone where, it didn't feel quite as like, I don't know. Halo 3 to me didn't feel quite as, it didn't quite have like the same kind of tones that CE or even 2 had. And I feel like they needed to make the Covenant like scary again, because you're going back in time and like now you're fighting the elites again and stuff like that. And they're not on your side and blah, blah, blah. And you even got to play as elites in Halo 2. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I've always felt like that's why it's like harder, or that's why it's like kind of like it's different than other Halo campaigns. But again, that's just whoopsie. That is just complete speculation on my end.
Somebody on stream the other day, actually, it's funny that you bring up the Covenant being like on your team. Oh
my!
Somebody on stream the other day asked me what like my favorite trope is in movies, games, whatever. And yeah. One of my all-time favorite tropes is enemy teams up with the hero.
Yep.
I adore it. I love it, so I never get tired of it. And
oh, my goodness,
Halo 3 is a good example of that, I think.
I agree.
Like, the Arbiter being a teammate.
Yes. I mean, it's also awesome when you play 4-player co-op for that game and everybody besides Chief is an elite and they all look different and stuff, it's like super cool. Yeah. It's great. Also, I just had a very tough time right there. I'm very glad we're past that. That jump, if you don't make it first try, is just like the backup for it is like equally as hard.
Break it?
Whoopsie. Should be fine. I need a very specific amount of speed to make this work. Also, my ODST is your favorite flavor of Halo. Yeah, yeah. For sure.
I'll admit, I bought ODST back in the day just to get the new map pack.
Me too. Me too. That was
But
the reason I bought it.
I really liked the campaign.
Also, a fun fact I learned about
Cable management.
Halo ODST from Halo speedrunners is that it's actually like apparently the easiest legendary run. If I recall, I might be wrong on this. Maybe another Halo runner can correct me on that. But because of the way the health system works in ODST, the ODSTs are actually like tankier than Chief is in other games.
Which thematically makes no sense.
Makes no sense, but yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah, apparently they just take a bit more punishment.
That's really interesting. Firefight also was such a cool addition.
Firefight, ODST Firefight, I definitely prefer it to Reach.
This could
It's, yeah, also, I'm not sure, actually, Ada, I don't know if you've checked this out. Have you seen what they're doing with ODST Firefight and Master Chief Collection?
No, I bought the Master Chief Collection, but I haven't played any of it yet.
They added content to ODST Firefight, so they added additional factions. So there's actually, you can actually fight the Flood in ODST Firefight.
Really?
Now. It's super sick. I haven't tried it out yet, but yeah, it's really, really cool. It's really, really cool.
Well, Brian Otto, something I've been wanting to do that maybe you'd want to participate in.
If it's Halo, my answer is yes.
Okay, cool. I guess I'll explain it anyway.
Yeah, I was thinking I know what it is still.
Back in the day, in like 2000, whenever ODST came out, was when they announced all the VidMasters. You remember the VidMasters?
Oh, yeah, I remember the VidMasters.
Okay, my friends and I grinded so hard to complete all the VidMasters.
Oh, dude, those are so brutal. Those are so brutal.
Because, like, because, you know, one of my favorite things about gaming in that era was that it was still the GameFAQs era. And,
yeah.
like, there was so much stuff that, like, wasn't confirmed or, like, is this real, whatever. And such a great facet of that was, like, all the rumors of how you could get recon. Like, oh, complete this jump map and you get recon with video proof, or, like, then there was the whole, like, play on Bungie Day, you know, and queue up against a Bungie player.
Even in like Halo 2, right? Like the Golden Warthog, or
Right.
like the Ghost of Lockout. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
I gotcha. Yeah.
But then they announced that the VidMasters, and that one was real.
Yeah.
If you did all the VidMaster achievements, you would get recon. So my friends and I were
Right.
like, all right, this is it. I did all but 2. So one of my goals, it's an unfinished gaming challenge for me in my life, and I refuse to not complete it at some point.
All right.
So I'm gonna
I've never tried it, so I would be down.
Great. I'm gonna form a team, and we're gonna get all the VidMasters.
That would be fun. That would be super cool.
The majority of the VidMasters are on solo missions, but a few of them are multiplayer.
Yeah, I remember there's that one where like you have to do the entire Halo 3 escape sequence with like without a Warthog or something like that. I think is one of them. I forget.
It's no, it's instead of doing it in you have to do it on mongooses, or no, it's ghosts.
Or ghosts.
It's
yeah.
all 4. It's 4-player co-op, legendary. The escape sequence, you must complete them in ghosts.
Right.
And then there's I believe the second to last mission of ODST must be completed 4-player legendary, and then there's ODST Firefight must be completed 4 rounds on heroic. Which is easiest with 4 players.
Yeah.
Possible challenger approaching episode. All right, now you have my attention.
That's what I was. Okay, I didn't want to say it, but I was thinking that would be a really fun challenger approaching episode. Yeah.
It would be less speedrun centric though, because like practicing it feels wrong.
Right. I think it'd just be it'd be fun regardless. I think
Yeah. Just get 2 more gamers and
2 more gamers
try to do the
do some gaming.
VidMasters.
Yeah.
This sounds like a good plan. You'd forgotten about GameFAQs until I mentioned it? Oh, GameFAQs is the home of ASCII art and my childhood.
Lasso speedrun when? I don't think honestly, I have no interest in doing Lasso. You know, like, I know my limits. I do not want to do lasso. For anybody that's not familiar, lasso refers to legendary all skulls on. And skulls in Halo games are kind of like little like custom modifiers that can like give enemies like 3 times health, or like make enemies throw grenades way more often, or something like that. So lasso refers to doing a legendary difficulty speedrun with all the skulls on. And
the most punishing of which is iron.
Yeah.
Which there's no checkpoints.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
That's one of the vidmasters also, is you must complete the last mission of Halo 3 with iron on heroic or harder, I think. 4-player.
Gotcha.
Almost done, Sid.
God damn it. But this Mirror Sea has not been good, but again, I'm just looking forward to playing Peak and playing the rest of the game, because the late game in this game is really, really fun. It's really good. That's that safety checkpoint I didn't grab earlier.
Should really fix my suit.
I enjoy this little strat here. There's normally like a little half pipe rail that you have to deal with. But it's kind of frustrating to maneuver on mouse and keyboard, which is how I'm playing. And so we have that little strat for that. And because it's a half pipe, we call that Tony Hawk skip. Cute little strat name.
I like that.
Yeah.
Strat names should not be... You should have fun when you come up with strat names, IMO.
Yes, I agree. Oh, my hair keeps getting in my eye. Goodness. There we go.
Gotta find a way up.
So at this point, what I'm looking forward to is the next level coming up, which is Luminous Peak. That's my favorite level in the run. It's also really hard, but it's got some really fun strats on it that my friends and I routed out. And I'm pretty confident I can like get a really good gold on that level, or get a new best segment, for anybody not familiar with what a gold split might be. So that's kind of that's where my mind is right now. I'm just going to kind of go through the motions, get Rust Dragger done, and then we'll be on to Peak. Definitely a very fun level to play overall.
Is it not an issue if the gold split is achieved on an easier difficulty?
Sorry, the game was really loud, so I couldn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, is it not an issue if the gold split is achieved on an easier difficulty? Because isn't that inconsistent?
Not an issue. Oh, no, it's not inconsistent at all. So, yeah. Like, again, the only thing the difficulty affects is if you look at the little bar on the middle of the screen.
Time.
Yeah, that's really the only thing it affects. So, in terms of, like, it doesn't actually affect our speed in any way that... In any other way, in any meaningful way, which is why we run on standard usually. So when we run on an easier difficulty, like it's still the same. Like all the strats are the same. There isn't any strat that is different. So
sweet.
Yeah. And there's no difficulty requirement for the run or anything like that. So yeah. My favorite skull is the headshot one with the grunts. Yeah, Grunt Birthday Party. That one's great. That one's like has always been like a historically pretty easy one to get to, especially in Halo 2. All right. Off we go to Luminous Peak. One of my favorite strat names is Badonkadonk Skip in the Messenger. Excellent. I think my favorite strat name ever was in Control. I mean, it's the one that the speedrun is most infamous for, but Slidey McGunny, in which you if you haven't watched the Control run at AGDQ 2020, I very much recommend it. And if you enjoyed that, check out the All Bosses run that was just at SGDQ. But basically, we do some really weird like menu overlap and menu storage this is I'm talking about the game control. We do some weird menu overlap and menu storage when we initiate a level transition, and then for some reason the player model is deleted, and you are you're just a gun that slides around on the floor, and it like completely unlocks your player camera, so you're able to like move your camera like through walls to access doors that you wouldn't otherwise be able to, and so you're just a gun sliding around on the ground. So we call the strat Slidey McGunny, and it is it's great, very very epic strat.
A Void Runner cache. Please
All right,
tell me
here we
the logs
go.
are intact.
This is a big skip to take us into peak for starters. If I don't hit the... Here we go. Okay, and then I have to get a big triple jump here. Nice, got the grapple instantly. And then this is another big skip. I double jump into the wall, which kind of boosts me up. Not really sure why, but it does, and it works. That's a very nice skip. Sometimes I can get a little trolled by this little sniper that sits here. He can like be absorbed into the goop, but fortunately that didn't happen there. Do a little party. Whoa, well, I don't know what just happened there, but that was cool, honestly. I'll have to go back and watch that. I think I like hit the rail at the very end and it gave me a little additional speed boost. What's my favorite game to speedrun? Titanfall 2. I've speedrun a number of games, but my favorites are Titanfall 2 is number one. I have, you know, over 4,500 hours in that game and running it for over 5 years. And then I'd say tied for second is Solar Ash and Halo 3. Those are both super fun.
Find a way to get Sid back. But first I need
Like, I never expected Halo 3 to be such like a cool like physics playground and movement-based speedrun. Like, it's really cool for that reason. It's very much a movement run. So yeah, it's super sick. I really enjoyed running Halo 3 when I did.
I'm telling you, Halo 3 is looking pretty good.
And they're looking pretty nice.
to get back this way.
Halo 3 co-op is pretty dope.
Pretty sick.
Oh god! Oh my goodness, I got owned! Oh, that sucks. Wow, so I tried to do a dash away from the top there, and I got literally body blocked by that sniper, who then, you know, well, killed me because I'm on 1 HP. So that happened. So now I gotta do it again. If I can get up here. Up, up, up.
Please. Oh,
Thank you. It's funny, I never thought that would happen to me. I've like seen that happen to other people that I was like, oh, I just never have an issue with that. And now here it's happened to me twice in a row. Can I get back to the goop? Wow, I'm having a tough time out here. I'm not gonna lie. This is as much of a no reset as there's ever been. Now I just gotta wait. There we go. Well, fortunately, the snipers are gone now, so I can just do the strat I was trying to do, which is that. Titanfall 2 has such great movement mechanics, even casually. It's true. It's true. There's a lot of stuff you just like naturally fall into too the more you play the game. Time loss a lot. Yeah, it's an over reset, so you know, I'm not sweating too much about it. I really enjoy playing this part of the game, so I'm not super worried about it at this point. Hardest jump in the game right here. This might be it. Nice, that was perfect too. Getting that, when you get the momentum carry up there, that's how you know you did it right. So this strat is interesting. So that checkpoint I got back there, I'm basically going to be storing that the entire time. For this entire next sequence, I cannot hit another checkpoint, and I also cannot die. So if I were to like die up here, I would lose probably 2 minutes. So you can see that little checkpoint marker sitting on the ground. I'm going to very specifically not hit that. And I'm going to take this super roundabout way to get over to this next segment. So this strat is, in my opinion, my favorite strat. Or really, really cool, and my favorite strat in the run. We're basically going to do a couple of these anomalies way up here, and then go all the way up to the graveyard. What's my time slip button? I forgot. There we go. You ever just forget?
Yes.
You ever just forget sometimes? You're in a position where like your kind of muscle memory fails you and you're like, wait, what do I do? Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, that just happened to me there. Yeah, so I'm gonna do all of the, I'm gonna do all this stuff, and then I'm gonna do a quit to menu, which is gonna warp me all the way back. So why is it hard? Because the risk of death is very high, or or because it's very punishing if you make mistakes. And then also the area that we're navigating, I mean, you can see there's lava anywhere. So any misstep puts you back into the lava. And then also another reason why it's hard is we're about to do a skip here. We're going to do a little gravity flip. And the platforming for it is very precise. And then also as soon as we do the skip, it shoots us into literally the most dangerous like arena in the entire game. So I'm going to do some very specific routing to get up here. I'm skipping going on that rail to the left because that's slow. If I can get a mantle, this is the awkward platform I'm talking about. If I could get like a little mantle here, I can triple jump up to here, and then triple jump up to here, and then here's the gravity flip. And now I am in the graveyard. So this is where runs go to die. And also you can see there's just a billion like really high tiered enemies here that are all super scary, and there's a million of these snipers. And again, I'm on 1 HP, so ideally I have to hit this. That guy shot at me, which is good. I got, okay, this is actually really bad now. How do I save this? I think actually I'm gonna, oh my God. All right, I'm actually gonna go around because I'm not trying to lose the entire time. So that's exactly what I was talking about for why it's hard, is because like this stuff can happen. So I'm actually gonna chill here. So it's really, really important that I get this manipulation. You see that guy chilling on the pillar. It's really important that he shoots at me, because getting his aggro there prevents him from aggroing on me here. Okay, and that allows me to do this basically without dying. So holy crap, that was terrifying, but we got it. Wow. Okay. Deep breath. So the hard part is basically over at this point. That was so scary. My God. So, yeah, to answer your question, that's why it's hard. To bring that all back, that would be why it's hard. So now we're going to do the quits menu where we go all the way back.
You're doing great.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this has definitely been this is a no reset of all time, for sure. Nice little rail slip triple jump to get us over here. And now we can hit this checkpoint because we don't care anymore. And we're done. Oof. Yeah, muscle failed, head empty. That really is the best way to sum that up. Hello, Nerd Piggy. Love you, miss you. Speaking of bringing it back to baseball, which is a conversation we had, I think, like an hour ago at this point.
Let's go.
Like. When I was working the GDQ booth at PAX East, I actually was able to make time to go see the Blue Jays play the Red Sox at Fenway. That was my first time going to Fenway. That was really cool. That was really, Fenway is like a,
it's an institution.
It was like beautiful. It's a beautiful park too, and it it feels like you could like feel the history there because it's just it's so damn old. You know, it was really, really cool. It was awesome.
The Giants Stadium, the San Francisco.
Oh, dude, that seems so fun. Yeah,
it's supposed to be gorgeous.
Good night. Great. Thank you. Yeah, it looks gorgeous. At least on the whenever I watch games that are taking place there. Oh yeah, and the reason I brought up Fenway is because I went with Nerd Piggy, who is in chat right now. That's what reminded me of that. Yeah, to give some context for that. Can confirm Giant Stadium is really nice. Yeah, it looks nice. All right, this death I'm about to take is intentional. It's going to warp me to another location where I can basically launch myself up to the boss much faster than I'd be able to get there otherwise. So I'm just going to come down here, hold left during the death screen, and then press dash right when the camera flips. Ah, okay, and I was supposed to be able to dash instantly, but oh, here we go. I will always be fond of Camden Yards. That stadium with the brickwork is cool. Yeah, you know, when I was really young, I think 9 or 10, my dad took me on a trip to DC, and we saw, you know, all the sites there and stuff. And then we also made a trip out to Camden Yards to watch the Orioles play. And it's weird to know that I've been at Camden Yards, but I have like actually no memory of it whatsoever. Like I don't really know if I appreciated baseball as much at the time, but I've like been to Camden Yards. I just couldn't tell you anything about it, or even who the Orioles were playing, or even like anybody that I saw play. It was weird. What's my favorite area? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Ada.
No, I mean, I was just going to say we have Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, which like is not a great stadium, but it has the biggest Jumbotron, so that's something.
It has the biggest what?
Biggest Jumbotron.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
It has like a super huge outfield, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's massive.
Massive, yeah. All right, we are into the end game sequence now. Finally. Only 2.5 minutes behind my average run, which definitely puts in perspective just how much has gone wrong. What's my favorite area? Do you mean within the speed run? It was the one that we just played. Casually, it was probably Mirasee, which was the one before the one we just played. All right, so now we have pretty much the only extended cutscene sequence in the whole game, I think. There's actually a skip that any % unrestricted has where they'll do kind of like this weird, kind of like stuck launch, where they wedge themselves in between two pieces of geometry, and you'll just get launched. It's like super difficult and incredibly inconsistent, but you can actually launch yourself all the way up to the top of this thing and skip this whole cutscene. At least the one that skates up it, but it is very hard, and also banned in this category, so I'm not doing it. So yeah, this is the longest sequence in the whole game here. Kansas Cityan.
That is the
Never
term.
heard of this game before. Never heard of this game before. I'll have to get it. Yes, big recommend. Yeah, this game is criminally underplayed, especially underran from a speedrun perspective. So yeah, it gets it's my favorite speed game that isn't Titanfall 2. You know, I feel like being tied with Halo 3 as like a speedrun is about the highest praise I can give it, because the Halo 3 run is so good, so good.
This is it.
A loud, cocky Yankees fan? That's impossible. Not possible. Nerd Piggy. Never heard of such a thing. So yeah, is this scene longer than MGS3 climbing up the ladder? I don't think so. I think that's longer. This whole sequence is definitely longer, because we have this is kind of like the climax of the game. Again, I'm not going to go into the narrative at all here, because you should really play it on your own. But effectively, we're given two choices here, and we can make the good choice or the bad choice.
This can't be.
As this entity tries to reason with us to make the good choice. And we're going to make the good choice, and that's going to effectively be what is the true ending of this game. It allows us to play an additional final mission and boss fight.
You sound like me.
Oh,
You
there we go.
always do. But do not draw this out. Show some mercy. Enough. Don't you get it?
I love this like vista right here.
We were too late. Wait, there's only one choice left to make. You listen. Why this time?
Why, SpongeBob? Why? Oh, by the way, this cutscene's a little bit disturbing. Just so everybody knows, it's not like particularly like violent or gory, but you know, it definitely it's meant to hit you hard, and it does. So just so people know, I always throw that out there. I remember the first time, shout out to my friend Creeper Hunter, who came in my stream when he was watching this cutscene for the first time, and he was like, "Oh, comfy cutscene," and then like, what's about to play out played out.
There's
You
no
just listed
saving
3
them.
runs I haven't seen. Well, I guess you better
All I
watch them.
did was prolong their suffering. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
If you want an introduction to really any of those runs, for Titanfall 2, I collaborated with Tomato Ingus last year to do a speedrun explained for Titanfall 2. So that's probably the most up-to-date, like, with commentary video out there. If you want to get introduced to Halo 3, well, that was weird. Sasquatch Sensei did a speedrun of it. I believe it was SGDQ 2020 that I was on the couch for.
Pain is gone.
And that was really, really good. And then if you want to
Feel
watch Solar Ash, well, you're
like I
watching it
can
right now.
breathe again.
But I also just ran it at SGDQ 2022. And that was obviously a fully commentated run. And we had a dev on the couch for that, which was a wild experience for me in particular. So, yeah, I would say that would be a great introduction to any of those runs if you want to watch them. Love that video with Tomato. Yeah, dude, Tomato Anus was such a pleasure to work with. Like, honestly, like my favorite speedrun content creator. Really, really, really good dude. Very easy to work with. Very high attention to detail. This is an intentional death warp I'm doing here, by the way. Extremely concerned with getting things right and accurate, and like making sure that like the runner is satisfied with stuff. Like, it's really cool. Really, really cool. I had a super excellent time working with him for the speedrun explained. All right, so here we go with the final boss. So unlike the other boss phases in the game, every single one of these boss phases has like the super heated goop. So any mistake will cause me to basically have to redo that entire phase. Fortunately, from like a platforming perspective, this isn't too much of a challenge. It gets kind of nervy because obviously like it's the end of the game, and like one mistake is death and everything like that. And I think the only real difficult part about this is that is the fact that the gravity gets like the gravity gets like a little bit weird here. Like your camera sometimes has a hard time keeping up. I'm pretty sure that this boss was probably the last one that was completed, so it kind of lacks a bit of the polish that some of the other ones have. Yeah, you can kind of feel that when you're playing through it.
I don't know why, but you helped me.
Developers who
No,
care
you're
about the
still in
speedrun community
there.
around their game are top tier. Yeah, Heart Machine is literally, from in my experience, the best of the best in that regard. They have gone so above and beyond. To not only have like dev commentary, like, you know, like on a video, on like a voice call, but to actually send one of them to the event to be there live and like interact with the community there was super cool. It was very interesting, like when we were doing practice commentary, for example, to like, you know, make a comment about a game and then, you know, have a dev literally behind it being like, oh, well, that functions this way because of this. And you'd be like, oh my God, I had no idea. That makes so much sense. So it's really cool. All right, and time is coming up pretty soon here. It's whenever I get the last input. So one more of these after this.
We have to pick up the pieces and
Definitely inspired by it, Shadow of the Colossus, for sure, to answer your question.
the truth is
All right, and time.
We can carry it together.
GG.
GG. I kind of wonder how that run compared real time. Compare against real time. A 102.17. So what's funny about that is that run felt so much worse than my GDQ run, but it was over a minute faster real time. Super weird. Super interesting. So, yeah. Anyway, GG on that one.
Any last thoughts, Brian Otto?
Any last thoughts? Man, it was just like, yeah, I talked about this a bit during this whole experience, but this was probably, aside from the community spotlight Titanfall thing we did last year, this was probably my favorite hotfix appearance I've had. So, yeah, it was just like very nice to hang out with you and hang out with chat. And
There's so much work to
I don't know, just have conversations about like the speedrunner baseball or tell people about the game. I'm really grateful for like any opportunity to tell more people about this run because it's very much a game that deserves more runners. It's really, really good. So a world record, what's world record? It's 56:29 by Bladen. My PB is a 56:48, so didn't quite get it done today. But yeah, it was just really, it felt very much like a it felt very much like, I don't know, like streaming at home, like I would any other day. So,
What's left here
yeah, I don't
is-
know. Yeah,
Sweet.
GDQ
I mean,
hotfix
that's
rules.
the goal, and I'm glad that I'm glad that the experience was good. That means that it's working as
Yeah.
well as I can hope.
Yeah, and wait, who is this? Mr. Krabs? What was Mr.
Oh
Krabs
my-
doing in this game?
Oh my god!
Driving a spaceship?
Are you all right, Ray?
I don't know. Anyway, if you want to get into the game, we just, yeah, all of our stuff is centered around our speedrun.com page and our
I will
Discord.
be.
That's speedrun.com/solar_ash. And we just had a brand new tutorial series that's out for people to get into it. ADEF, dude, thank you so much for having me. This was really, really fun.
Yeah, of course, anytime. Gamers, please do follow Brian Otto on Twitch, twitch.tv/Brian Otto. If you're on YouTube, the link is in the description of the YouTube video, so you can check it out there too, just one click away, or perhaps 2 clicks if you have to press more info first on the description. That's going to be it for the hotfix today, everybody. Some quick announcements before we wrap things up here. Games Done Quick Highlights is a channel that features highlights of our GDQ hotfix shows. Use the exclamation highlights command in the Twitch chat to learn more about our highlights. If you're on YouTube, you can also just search like Games Done Quick Highlights on YouTube and it should pop up. If you are watching on YouTube, consider watching us live sometime at twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick, starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. And from now until July 15th, GDQ's revenue from subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered after taxes will be donated to Doctors Without Borders by Games Done Quick. So consider that. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Please do stick around because we're going to throw to a quick break and then we will raid someone. So stick around in order to be a part of that. As far as what's coming up on the horizon for ADEF on GDQ, 2 Sundays from now, so the next PB Precipice episode, Mitch Riz will be showing off Elden Ring any %. And then the next challenger approaching is on the 29th of this month. That'll be a GeoGuessr 1v1 salty sweet match between myself and Ain Runs.
That
who
sounds so
has
fun.
challenged me to a GeoGuessr off. I'm not sure what we're putting on the line yet, but we'll see. Yeah, that's what you can look forward to. Tomorrow, there's more hotfix starting at 7 p.m. Eastern with Awfully Silly, and then That's Never Happened Before. So stick around, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and have an excellent day.
Is that you?
I forgot about this.